scared to live. Position. Don't you think so, Brad?
Yeah, I would think so. I think the other thing we have
16,
to
Oberto, John Thierat.
Heat, so you've got 4 opportunities to earn points, and of course in these preliminary heats it's all about earning points to get into that all-important final. Tomorrow
the 5, Graham Trucking, J. Michael Kelly.
So somebody might play a little bit conservative here, but you don't want to come through with a 4th or 5th there, so you want to be up front and pushing, and to do
the
that
9,
in this field, you're going to
West Swap Tire, Gale Root Construction, Andrew Tate.
45 seconds, 3:45, Michael.
Yeah, and initially they said we're going to have a 135 start. That
the
got
21, Plain West Insurance, Brian Perkins.
Start due to getting all the boats in the water in time. So if you're not at the shoreline, you want to make your way there to see
the 3,
the first heat.
Briggs Ace Hardware, Jimmy King.
It will not disappoint.
All swimmers need to be out of the water. An announcement from the officials here. All swimmers.
16 and 9 are still outside of you, about 5 boat lengths back.
And all swimmers out of the river on shore.
I see the Oberto.
Yep.
Runner all the way down. You're coming up on 3 minutes. Mark, 3 minutes. They are still outside and behind you.
Here comes J. Mike. He's going to come down here first. He's got Thierat just out on his right and behind him, and then it is Mr. Tate. So there's your 3 of your big dogs coming right to you, Tony, in Tire Factory Turn 2.
And it is. It'll be J. Michael Kelly securing lane number 1 at this point, but right behind him. And they're playing a little cat and mouse right now.
Pulling up, well, see right there. There's nothing's really changed. There's like several troops running up on the inside behind everybody. Not sure what he's going to do. We're at 2 minutes and 24 seconds.
In lane 1.
Right now, J. Michael Kelly holding on to that lane 1 position. Heading up the back stretch as we get the countdown to the start of 1A from Frontier Communications. Top end of the course, J. Michael Kelly will hold on to that lane 1 position. Looks like John Thierat in lane number 2.
3 is running around like lane 1 or 2. The 3 is, but he's way behind all you guys. He's going to try to find a hole. Don't leave the hole.
But Jimmy King coming around that top end of the course is running right through some slop.
1 minute and 45. I like this. If they're going to stay there, then you bring them all the way down. Okay? Keep holding it all the way down. Hold that lane all the way down.
Actually, we lost Jimmy up there at the top end of the course. I don't see him.
No, there he is. He is. He's sneaking in behind all the other boats. He's right in between.
Well, you're not going to have anybody cutting the course now because you got 120 until the start. So it's going to be J. Michael Kelly in 1, Jimmy King's going to be in 2, Thierat's going to be in 3, Tate's going to be in 4, and on the outside is going to be Brian Perkins. Tony, what a sight!
Guy off while you're running up the back. You go hard. Guy off.
Running turn number 2, and it will be the 5, the 3, the 16, the 9, and the 21 heading down the backside.
Boy, what a move by Jimmy King to secure that inside position.
He's in 2.
Yeah, nice job to get in lane number 2. He was trailing the pack and then was able to sneak up inside there at the top end of the course on that Buffalo Brothers turn number 4.
As he came around here at 2, he was in lane number 1, and he snuck up right behind and then switched back over into 2.
So J. Michael Kelly in lane number 1,
30
leading
seconds.
the boats to the top end of the course. 30 seconds to the start of the Heat 1A from Frontier Communications. J. Michael Kelly on the inside, and Jimmy King in the 3. And they hit the accelerator as they get to the top end of the course into turn number 3. Coming into turn number 4.
And let's roll. Come on, bud. Don't get left behind. Check your clock. You can see that spot.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Tick. Check lights.
Lane number 4.
Boat start you've got coming down here. They're coming down far wide. They're really close together. Tate's going to get down here first, but it's J. Michael Kelly in lane 1.
Let's go. Come on. Nice job. You're pulling them.
He's pushing it hard out of the exit pit first, and you'll have the 16 boat number 2, and on the outside will be 9, and he will be number 3.
Boy, what a nice run on the inside for J. Michael Kelly. Graham trucking. He's trying to hold off Jean Theoret, but Theoret on the outside is starting to gain speed. Trailing behind now Jimmy King in the piston-powered red boat. The red boat, the leader right now, J. Michael Kelly, but look at Jean Theoret take the lead at the top end of the course.
John Theoret definitely drove in to turn 3 much harder than Michael J. Kelly. He'll come out side by side, exit 4.
In third place, Andrew Tate in the Gale Rue Construction presents Les Schwab Tires. Jean Theoret leading after lap number 1, but it's a tight race on the inside with J. Michael.
Very, very tight race. There's some air underneath Jean Theoret.
McLean was making a tight one.
What about a 4-boat length lead over J. Michael Kelly, who's off to his left and on the inside. Tony, still a very good race.
And both of them are really bouncing off the top of the rollers. They're nose to nose as they come out of the exit pit. You can't call that one. It's right out of the exit pit. Number 16 may have just a nosebleed.
Yep, about boat and a half lead right
Gaining
now
on J.
for the
Michael.
16, Jean Theoret over J. Michael Kelly.
Your face, watch for light, watch for light.
Theoret's pulling away on the back stretch. Your fast lap in lap number 1 with to Theoret at 151.380. J. Michael Kelly at 149.608. Into Buffalo Brothers, turn number 4 at the top end of the course. J. Michael Kelly on the inside. On the outside, Jean Theoret. Theoret still leading by about a half a rooster tail. J. Michael Kelly trying to close on the inside as they get to the start-finish line. And another fast lap, 150.313 for Theoret.
Lap number 3. This is the final lap. Jean Theoret's coming out here in the 1975 Pete Townsend Boy Alberto. J. Michael Kelly is giving ground. He's back about 7 boat lengths right now, Tony. Theoret's going to try and hold him in tight.
And it is bumpy down here in number 2. But Theoret really turned it nice and smooth as he got himself into lane number 2. He's keeping a full rooster tail length lead over the number 5. And here comes the 9 boat in for the 3rd place in lane 4.
Great run for Andrew Tate out in lane number 4 in the 9. But look at Jean Theoret. Lane number 2 didn't have as much slop in Tire Factory turn number 2, and Theoret was able to pull away down the back stretch. Theoret about a rooster tail lead. J. Michael Kelly on the inside, getting some rough water at the top end of the course. Theoret pitched him off a little bit.
Let her fly, let's go, let's go. Push hard.
For Buffalo Brothers. And look at the race for 2nd place. Andrew Tate is challenging in the 9. J. Michael Kelly is trying to hold him up and will take 2nd place.
Dude, Theoret went right to the pin. I went through his tail.
Theoret, your winner in the 16 overall.
Theoret went to the pin. He went right to lane 1. Copy that. Let's see if they give a call.
Jean Theoret's rooster tail. He lost a lot of momentum when he moved to the outside, and all of a sudden Andrew Tate set his sights on Kelly and darn near got him. Wow.
Well, we've been talking about Andrew Tate and what he's been able to do in that 9 ever since that boat for Gale Rue Construction, Les Schwab Tires, came off the trailer. And he's going to be a factor in this entire weekend as we up there.
The 2016 Hapo
Right now, all
2016 Hapo Columbia Cup Heat 1B.
It's all swimmers. Yes, that means you. Back
The
to
7
shore.
Graham Trucking 2 Jeff Bernard.
Swimmers back to the shore, please, as we see boats heading up the backstretch along our Tire Factory turn number 2. Tony has the home
The
straight.
11 Peterson May Tom Thompson.
Yeah, he's actually trolling right behind the 11, Peterson May, and he went right into the inside.
The 1
So
Home
we're gonna
Street
see
Bank
they're gonna
Jimmy
be,
Shane.
some cutting across here shortly, as way up on top coming around the corner for you guys is the number 7 Graham Trucking 2.
You know what I found fascinating during the milling period for Heat 1A, thanks to Frontier Communications? Nobody went across the infield. There really wasn't much fighting for lanes, as it turned out. Jimmy King may have made the most coy move that we saw out there, coming up from behind to claim that inside position in lane number 2.
Yeah, no question. You know, and we were warned of this at the first heats, the first couple of heats. We won't see a lot of big battling for position. We're going to see them go around the course, get the timers down good, and everybody fall into a lane. And now some people they prefer the outside and they're giving up the first
99.9 Car Star, powered by Miss Rock, Kevin Egret.
It looks like we got all 4 boats in the water now.
Yep, the 99 just went by.
Jeff Bernard seems to be clinging on to that lane number 1 up the backstretch. Here comes Jimmy Shane behind him in the 1 Home Street Bank. Meanwhile, Kevin Egret in the 99. CarStar powered Miss Rock at the top end of the course now. Jimmy Shane is going to pass up Bernard on the backstretch in this milling period. The U11 Peterson May is coming into turn number 2, Tire Factory turn 2 with Tony on right now.
And this ought to be interesting to see Jimmy Shane and Jeff Bernard going head-to-head. Remember the story between those two. Jeff Bernard was the radio man for Jimmy Shane last year, so this is going to be an interesting matchup between those two guys.
So right now, Kevin Egret is going to come down the front stretch across the Griggs Ace Hardware start-finish line in lane number 3. Up the backstretch, kind of a slow ride right now for the U11 Peterson May with Tom Thompson.
2 minutes, 2 minutes. We ought to remind our fans right now.
On 143 here, watch Tommy on your inside, you're a little early, you're 152. We want 143, 150. We're about 7 seconds off.
With Tom Thompson.
We're going to have to go around. You'll be darn close.
He's going to head over to the backstretch.
Here goes Jeff.
And he's going to be followed by Jeff Bernard. Will Tom Thompson also cut across?
Jimmy Shane
lane on.
Jimmy Shane was carrying a lot of boat speed, and he was way ahead of the clock, so
Guys,
I'd be surprised if we see it again.
Guys, Tom Thompson's got to be real careful. I have a timing mark on this course that if you get to the entrance bend of this corner at $1:30, you're going to be pushing the.
Cut. Watch the 100. Go. I'd think about cutting up here again.
Right in front of Tony. He's going extremely slow.
Yeah, he's really crawling right now. He's got to keep that speed up if he's waiting for the other
On your outside.
Jimmy Shane is going to cut across to the backstretch now.
That's going to be awfully close.
Jeff Bernard is going to follow across the infield.
So's Egret.
They all cut across.
And that might have saved the 11. He may have just secured lane 1.
That didn't work out. We're going to have to freaking
Hold on to that first lane.
lane 3 mark, 24 seconds, right? Yep, that's correct. You're at 35.
99.9 Miss Rock.
100's coming up hard on your outside. 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. Go.
To the top end of the course in our countdown, Brad.
25.
25 seconds to the hard start, that is, of 1B, brought to you by Fast Signs. More than fast, more than signs. So in lane number 1, you'll have the 11, Peterson May with Tom Thompson. Lane 2, the 1, with Jimmy Shane on Home Street Bank. Lane 3, Jeff Bernard in the Graham Trucking. On the outside, Kevin Egret in the 99.9.
Good start. Go. Jimmy's on your inside.
The only clean boat from our vantage point is the 99.9.
Yeah, keep in mind my watch is not dead on, so I might be wrong, but Jimmy Shane's going to get down here first. Tom Thompson's in second on the inside lane, and then on the outside it's Bernard.
And it is the shorter way around the coast. The 11 has got the inside, but it is the pure speed of the 1 as he takes off a full rooster tail lead.
On 11, 1 rooster tail on 7. Leave a lane.
Getting word from the officials, it was a clean start for all boats. A clean start for all boats. Jimmy Shane is your leader, heading up the back stretch. In second place, it's the Peterson May with Tom Thompson, and a nice ride down in the 11 for Tom Thompson. He's going to have the shorter round around as they go into turn number 3 and into Buffalo Brothers, turn number 4. Let's see what kind of ground Tom Thompson can make up on the leader, Jimmy Shane. On the outside, it's Jeff Bernard in the 5 Graham Trucking, falling about a rooster tail and a half back of the leader, Jimmy Shane. Jimmy Shane crossed the start-finish line, 144.759 miles per hour. Tom Thompson in second place, but look at, here comes Jeff Bernard in the 5.
I think that may be our seventh race. We're getting a real good ride down here for Jimmy Shane. He's not having to push too hard. He'll keep his eye on Tom Thompson off to his left, but he's giving him a lot of room, Tony.
Yeah, he came out real wide on that one and stayed in lane number 3. But right there, the 11, Peterson May, as Thompson comes up and gets within the rooster tail link, but it's that...
Right, he's got a full rooster tail on the 11. So he's move over and run to Jimmy's way. Jimmy needs to go over to the pin. I don't think he's gonna, though.
Tire Factory turn number 2. Your race leader, Jimmy Shane, to the top end of the course in the 1, Home Street Bank. Peterson May on the inside with Tom Thompson in the 11. Gaining a little bit of ground at that top end of the course, but I don't know if he'll have enough boat speed, enough momentum. At the the exit pit, it's going to be Jimmy Shane leading, but you can see he cuts into that lead by about a half a rooster tail. Tom Thompson does, coming around the top end of the course as Jimmy Shane is trying to kind of pinch him off a little bit on the inside as they come down that front stretch. Tom Thompson is gaining just a little bit on Jimmy Shane. Jeff Bernard in the 7 seems to be falling back a bit in third place.
Yeah, he is gaining a little bit. Tom Thompson is gaining on the inside. Jimmy Shane is giving him a carload of room. He's driving way wide here, and Tom is eating him up on the inside, Tony.
Yeah, he cut that lead in half, and he's now within a half a boat length behind. Now it's a full boat length as Thompson lost some power as he came out of the turn. He got gobbled up in some water there.
Yeah, he hit a roller and hit some slough down there in that Tire Factory turn number 2 and lost a lot of boat speed on that lap. Up the backstretch, a full rooster tail lead now for Jimmy Shane in the 1 home straight bank to the top end of the course. Rattlesnake Mountain in the background, sunshine, a little bit breezy, 96 to 94 degrees right now at the official barge, the Brunswick Memorial Barge. So Jimmy Shane at the exit pin of Buffalo Brothers turn number 4, and right now Tom Thompson at the exit pin.
Checker.
To the start finish line right now for Jimmy Shane in the 1 home street bank as Tom Thompson in second place crosses now, and Jeff Bernard in the 7 crosses now. Good run for Jimmy Shane, solid looking boat ride in the home street bank with a checkered flag in the 1B, sponsored by Fast Signs. More than fast, more than signs. 4th place finish for Kevin Egret in the 99.9 CarStar powered Miss Rock.
Well, I'll tell you, Tom Thompson was making up in laps 1 and 2, was making up.
Apo Columbia Cup, Heat 2A.
Good to see him out on the river, and now we see him against the Blue Bridge in the backdrop. And
The 7, Graham Trucking 2, Jeff Bernard.
Well, it's good to see the Red Turbinator making his way around. And of
The
course,
16, Oh Boy Alberto, Jean Thierret.
Glass, it says, good job, guys. Keep on going.
The 11, Peters and May, Tom
Three out there
Thompson.
making the effort to be out there. What a great heat this is going
The
to be.
1, Home
Jeff
Street
Bernard
Bank,
is going
Miss
to lead the
Madison,
bus to the
Jimmy
top end of
Shane.
the course into turn number 3. And cutting across the infield will be Jean Thierret.
The
in
3,
16.
Briggs Ace Hardware, Jimmy King.
Bernard meanwhile now into turn number 4, Buffalo Brothers turn. And
Trying to tell you earlier, we got a wind coming across the race course. The front straightaway, where this opening past the start-finish line, is going to carry that right sponsor a little bit more than it normally does. You have a little bit more of a breeze there.
Down the front stretch, then you have Bernard in the 7, across the start-finish line.
Hey, Jimmy's going to come up here outside. Tommy's outside of him, and the 3's outside of him. Just keep that pace right there. You're good to go.
And then Jimmy King.
Watch to see if Jimmy doesn't jump over to the outside there. Here he goes.
The course, Home Street's cutting the course. Home Street's cutting there. We're 2:43.
Early. We're still at 2 minutes and 40 seconds till our start.
Yep, still a long time. Now, look at the boat speed for Jimmy King and the piston-powered Griggs Ace Hardware boat heading to Tony at turn number 2.
Yeah, he's getting up there, and he may get up there a full rooster tail ahead. He's got some clean water, though, in front of him. He may stay right there.
Now, the question is, with our countdown now, Jimmy Shane has moved into lane number 1 on the backstretch. Trailing him is Jean Thierret in the 16, Oh Boy Alberto. Where are we at on the clock, Brad? Brad may be climbing to his high perch to follow the action for us down there in the Neil F. Lamson pits.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
2-minute mark now, and Jimmy Shane is right at the exit pin of the Buffalo Brothers turn number 4. Jumping over the wake, and a little bit of a rough ride is Thierret in the Oh Boy Alberto.
50. Make sure you maintain 80.
As well, trailing Shane. And on the outside, here comes Jimmy King. King is going to set up in lane number 3 at this point. But still, we have over a minute and a half remaining until we get to the start of this Heat 2A, brought to you by SM El Pueblo Market.
We're at a minute 30 right now, and we're understanding there has been an 80-mile-an-hour warning given to the 1, the Home Street Bank. Really? He's down here right now at a buck 19.
No, 104.
So I think
115.
okay.
Go ahead, take it deep. Go. Watch Jimmy up there. 112, 11, 10. Go. 8, 7, 6-5-4. You should be at that pin. You're good to go. So take it from Jimmy. Nice work.
And he'll try to
Just
jump
set it
out
down.
in front of Jimmy Shane and take lane number 1 on the back stretch.
Boy, he's got to be careful up there. We're at 55 seconds, and there has already been a warning given also to the 7.
Warning on the 7.
Bernard, who's up
The second warning, the 7 is disqualified.
He's claimed lane number 1, pushing Shane into lane number 2, Theoret into lane number 3.
and he did not hold the 80 miles an hour. The 7 has been disqualified.
Oh, that's a shame.
He jumped over there too early. That's called overpaying for the inside lane, guys. 30 seconds.
All right, so your inside boat is Bernard in the 7, but again, getting below 80 miles per hour will cost you. So Bernard will hold on to lane number 1 as we get ready for the countdown as they get to the top end of the course into turn number 4 from Buffalo Brothers.
15 seconds.
15 seconds at the exit pin. Let's set him up. Jimmy Shane sliding out wide, got very close to Theoret in the 16. Oh boy, Alberto.
4.
Then Jimmy King with boat speed as they come to the start finish line. Jimmy King is going to lead down the front stretch of the Piston Power Brakes of P3.
He's leading on the outside lane number 4, but he's got a lot of speed off to his left. One of those boats is Sean Theoret, who's going to get down here first. Shane had a ton of air underneath the boat on the start.
And he is. He's got himself up in the air a little bit as he made his way around. Now it's deck to deck, very, very close between the 1 and the 16. They almost hit each other there. And the 3 comes up on the side, is in third place.
Oh, it's very tight. Just getting to the start-finish line at the beginning of 2A.
Your lights. Watch your lights. Nobody else around you but
Between
just
the
you and
1
him.
and the 16. Heading down the back stretch, Jimmy Shane is the leader in the home street bank, and he'll dive into turn number 3 with a wall of water off the skid pin into our Buffalo Brothers turn number 4. And now we start to see on the outside, out on his hip, that is the 16, the old boy Alberto with Jean Theoret. Jimmy Shane flying the boat out of the water, coming across the start-finish line, completing lap number 1, 147.087 miles per hour. But then Theoret gaining down the front street.
Boy, this is an awesome two-boat run down here. Just number 2, Shane out front, but only by about 2, maybe 3 boats coming to you, Tony.
It takes the inside, and they're still staying very, very close. Out to the exit pad will be the U1. Home Street Bank followed very closely and gaining some speed on the outside. Only a half a roost of tail behind will be the U16.
And we saw this on the straightaway in the front stretch. The 16 able to make some ground up, but can he catch Jimmy Shane? Top end of the course. Lap number 2 underway, and there was a nice move by Theoret to get a little bit more ground before they get into turn number 3. And Theoret...
Pitch him tighter. Pitch him tighter. Try to get in there tighter. Don't swing it out so wide. Don't give him so much room to work with. Get her going, bud. Get her going.
Deck to deck, Jimmy Shane on the inside with the lead. Theoret in second place on the outside, and the old boy Alberto. Shane is leading, but look at Theoret catch him on the front stretch.
1 lap to go. They are tied together. Theoret on the outside, chasing it in 1. Shane's going to get down here first. Check it. No, he's not. Can't even. You can put a blanket on him, Tony.
Now that Theoret is just pulling back, he swung really wide on that one, opened it up for Jimmy Shane. Full rooster tail lead now.
Jimmy Shane with a half a rooster tail lead over Theoret and the old boy Alberto. Home Street Bank taking it to the top end of the course. Last lap 149.377 for the 16 with Jean Theoret at 148.568 for the 1. Home Street Bank. Home Street Bank on the inside with Jimmy Shane coming to the exit.
Bring her home. Let's go.
Number 4, Buffalo Brothers turn 4, and Theoret on the outside will not be able to catch him. And it's going to be Jimmy Shane with back-to-back heat wins here on the Columbia River course. A great run on the inside to hold off Jean Theoret, and it was the sloppy water down in turn number 2 where Theoret lost speed and had no more horsepower, no more boat speed, no more momentum to challenge Jimmy Shane in the home street.
It was right out of turn at the first lap as they came in here, and I'll tell you what, guys, they were within inches of each other. It was amazing how close they got to each other, but 2 very skilled drivers able to correct and make it down the lane patterns, and it is a great boat race to see. Jimmy Shane taking home the checker.
Were you recently injured in a car accident? Look at this check for $160.
And we're partial.
Home Street Blue.
Home Street Blue.
Yep.
And described as Sky Blue, and we're extremely partial.
2016 Hapo Columbia Cup Heat 2B.
So we want you to consider that.
You know, we accept all great
The
ideas.
21 Payne West Insurance, Brian Perkins.
We'll take it to the board. Mark, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on.
Good to have you here in the
Have a
Tri-Cities.
great weekend.
And
The 5 Graham Trucking, J. Michael Kelly.
Bank and Jimmy Shane with a couple of heat wins here on the Columbia River course as we get ready for Heat 2B.
The 9 Gale Rue Construction, Les Schwab Tire, Andrew Tate.
Down on the river, the 5 Graham Trucking with J. Michael Kelly, along with the 9 Gale Rue Construction presents Les Schwab Tire, Andrew Tate. The 21 Daryl Strong presents Payne West Insurance with Brian Perkins and Kevin Ekren in the 99.9 CarStar powered Miss Rock. Let's check in with our pit crew. Brad Luce, Glenn Boggin, thanks to A1 Refrigeration and Heating.
Yeah, down here on the, I just made it up to the top of the tower. We got 3 minutes and 13 seconds. I suspect he's got
Where's Mike?
as well.
Behind you, about 3 roofs
They keep
down.
adding steps. Now they're adding steps on this tower between heats. Man, oh man, I gotta talk to Niles. He's up here. We gotta have a conversation about that.
3 minutes.
3 minutes till the start.
99.9 CarStar powered by Miss Rock.
Michael Kelly. He says, I'm behind you two guys. Well, there's a quick way to get in front of you and jump into lane 1. Right in front of you, Tony.
All right, so the 9's exiting turn 1 now.
Gaining some speed and really trying to make his way up will be the 9. And he's going to try to get himself into better position, but speeding up with that pass is number 21. Brian Perkins is doing the same thing.
Coming off the Buffalo Brothers turn number 4, top end of the course, Kevin Ekren in the 99.9.
We're going to have to go around again.
Across the start finish line right now of the backstretch, it's going to be J. Michael Kelly and the Graham Trucking in lane number 1. It's real early. We're, at 2 minutes now to the start.
2:10.
Okay, 2 minutes, 10 seconds to the start. So, J. Michael Kelly on the inside at the exit pin of our Buffalo Brothers turn number 4.
Turn it over to you, Mike. You've got time to run, but don't dance around the 80, all right? I don't want a penalty.
Andrew Tate, and they are going to start slowing down, but be mindful of the 80-mile-an-hour issue that we saw in the last heat race that ended up costing Jeff Bernard dearly.
Boy, they're pretty close to that. They're going awfully slow down the front straightaway on the way down to you, Brad.
Yeah, we're at 137. Again, my timing mark here is 130, so I think they're going to be behind that. We are at 130 right now.
Top end of the course, trailing is Kevin Ekren in the 99.9. Down the front stretch, trailing the 2 that are now reaching the first turn would be the Payne West Insurance with Brian Perkins, the 21.
Michael Kelly getting out of the exit pin in lane number 1. He's solid there. In 2 will be the 9 bones, driven by Andrew Tate, and then the 21 will be solidly in the 3rd lane. So in
1 minute.
Those 1, 2, 3 boats are going to be right there, followed up coming into turn number 1, the 99.9.
Well, the drivers are being very patient as they are now inside that 1-minute score-up buoy across from us over on the Vasco shoreline, but nobody yet is really putting the hammer down, with the exception of Kevin Ekren, who's trailing in the 99.9, coming up that back.
They're so fucking early.
He has a lot of speed underneath him. He's trying to play a little catch-up right now and try to get in there at the same time. So keep an eye on the 99.
All right, our countdown is on. It's inside 30 seconds now. Heat 2B, brought to you by Pueblo Market. That's the SML Pueblo Market. So top end of the course, lane number 1 is going to be the 5 Graham Trucking with J. Michael Kelly. Lane number 2, falling back behind a little bit, is the 9 with Andrew Tate. And in lane number 3 will be the 21 with Brian Perkins. Lane number 4, Kevin Ekren in the 99.9.
2, 1.
And it's a clean start, and Ekren is going to lead on the outside. And look at Brian Perkins at the 21, and the 2 inside.
Let's roll. Dig. Come on. You can get out of this thing just fine.
Ekren's going to get down here first, but he's way on the outside. I'll tell you, keep an eye on J. Michael Kelly. There's a carload of air underneath that boat.
Bouncing off the top, he really is making that boat loose coming out of the exit pin right now. But look on the inside, and you've got a boat going down. The 9 has just gone down. He is
I think
going
the
into
9 just
infield.
hit the gearbox.
The 21 is in 2nd place.
Keep rolling.
Is heading to the infield.
You got the 21 on your outside, check light. 21 on your outside. You've got +4, lane 1 turn.
J. Michael Kelly. Kelly gets into turn number 3, top end of the course. Perkins is off on his hip, trailing by about a half a rooster tail as they get into Buffalo Brothers turn number 4. Perkins is going to try to challenge on the outside. And I'll tell you what, I don't know that we've seen the 21 look this good.
One lane is divided. Inside the course.
And Brian Perkins trying to close.
Open the lid. Unbuckle yourself and go in the back and see what kind of damage you got.
The entrance pin of the corner. He can take it a little bit easy, but not very much because you are right. Perkins does not want to let him go. Coming to Tony.
And it is getting windier down here at the exit pit of number 2 as there goes J. Michael Kelly in the 5. He's still secure in lane number 1. And Brian Perkins is trying to catch up. He's a 2 rooster tail trailer at this point.
Yep, and then another 2 rooster tails back is Kevin Ekrit in the 99.9. Now we're understanding from the officials here at the Brunsman's Memorial Barge, the start is under review, and that the 9 has lost a prop, and that is a very expensive prop to lose here in the Columbia River down there in turn number 2. At the top end of the course, exit pin of the Buffalo Brothers turn number 4, it is J. Michael Kelly in the Graham Trucking.
Exit now, 21 exit now. You've got a lot of room, Mike. Check light.
Speed at 147.654. Perkins falling back, crossing now at 140.420 miles per hour. Kevin Ekrit in the 99.9. Coming to the start finish for Griggs Ace Hardware now at speed of 133.209.
Tony, you got our leader right in front of you.
And he has really got that skid fin duct tape. He has moved out into lane number 2. And now coming up behind and following up about 5 rooster tails behind will be Brian Perkins, but he's solidly in second place. And the 99 is taking a ride right down through the heart of all of that mess down there we call turn 2.
Let's head up to the backstretch, and it's J. Michael Kelly in the 5 Graham Trucking.
Bring your way out, Mike. Bring your way out. Let's have one for the band. Come on. You got lots of room. Bring your way out. That a boy. That a boy. Nice job. Photo time.
Best fans on the H1 Hydro circuit. And
Winner, to me, buddy.
In lane number 6, waving hi to everybody on the banks of the Columbia River. That was quite a pass. Unbelievable finish for J. Michael Kelly.
KOA
2016 Hapo Columbia Cup Heat 3A.
Tire Factory turn 2. You got our 4 boats all up and running. And it's coming out of the exit pit. First will be the 16, followed by the 7. Both of those boats are looking to put on a good show right here. There it is. The Red Turbinator as it makes its way in front of the Pasco crowd over here.
The 16, oh boy, Oberto, Jean Thierret.
What do they call it? Limey green is what I've been told, and it is the 11. Peters and Bay.
Yeah, that's quite an assortment of color out there with the 2 red boats in between.
The 7, Graham Trucking 2, Jeff Bernard.
Sean Thierret on the outside. Passing him now would be the 7 Graham Trucking with Jeff Bernard. And then you have Jimmy King heading up the backstretch into turn number 3 at our 4-quarter super speedway.
The 3, Griggs Ace Hardware, Jimmy King. The 11, Peters and May, Tom Thompson.
Just a slight breeze has come up. A slight breeze. It'll be over your right sponsor right now, coming from the far shoreline. It's over your right sponsor right now. Nothing major, just something to be aware of. Still by yourself. We're at 4 minutes and 5 seconds. Copy. The 11's just entering, the 3's just exiting.
Some points in order to get past that cut line right now. Followed up by the 16. Here comes the Ahoy Alberto, Jean Thierret, and then driven the 11 boat is followed right up behind, crossing over into lanes and getting in behind as Thierret just moved over into lane number 1, and the Peters and May is also moving to the inside
All right, so top end of the course at Jeff Bernard into turn number 3, and now over to Buffalo Brothers turn number 4. And hello to our Buffalo Brothers fans up there in the party zone, some of the best fans on the H1 circuit.
Gotta kill time, you can go deep. These guys are already camped out in 1 and 2 down here. Gotta kill time, you can go deep. We're 2-9. You got Peters and May 10 bow lengths behind you. 10 bow lengths behind you. I don't know if he's on the inside or outside of it, though. We're 2 minutes. Cut.
Diving across the infield is going to be Jeff Bernard, and it looks like Jimmy King will follow in the 3.
We're at 1:43. We can't have another warning.
Again, after they get clear of the GP course and get into that area where they can cross back to the front stretch. Coming down the front stretch now is the 16, Oh Boy Oberto, followed by Tom Thompson in the Peters and May.
Crowd confirmed, morning 11.
Cutting across, now look at Jimmy King. I think that's going to be a safe cross on the infield, but we'll check with the judges upstairs on Jimmy.
Go, stay there. Go Grand Prix.
That may not have been far enough upstream.
But we're at a minute 5 here, and he got Tom Thompson way up the back chute. He's got to cut it again. He cut the course really early. Now watch Thompson. He's going to come in front of you, Michael, and he's going to have to come down here and do it again. We're inside 1 minute.
Yeah, and that is clear. That is a clear portion of the course for them to cross. So
We're going to want to be at that entrance buoy. At 22, we're at 44.
That back stretch, cutting through the infield to the back stretch. So Bernard in 1. It looks like Theoret is in lane number 2. Jimmy King in lane number 3. And then Tom Thompson will be outside in lane number 4 in the bright green boat.
Jeff Bernard made it 90 seconds as he came across the infield and cut right in front of the 16 to take over that one-lane position.
So Jeff Bernard, with that crafty move to steal lane number 1, is going to hold on as we get ready to
Go.
inside lane for the 7 with Graham Trucking and Jeff Bernard.
But we'll call them the way they are right now in the water. Jeff Bernard's going to get down here first. Actually, Theoret is back.
Reviewing the start.
Number 2. Pistons were in second place when they got here, Tony. And it is. The 16 slid, or actually the 3 slid out pretty hard, and it is really close to the 11 boat. The 16 and the 7 are deck to deck, as well as the 11 and the 3.
Well, it's going to be Jean Theoret leading up the back stretch. Theoret in the 16, Oh Boy Oberto with the lead as we are in lap number 1 here of 3A, brought to you by Atomic Screen Fitting. Nice ride for John Theoret, and we expected big things from him. It's good to see him on the river.
Full length. Hold him tight. Don't give him 3 lanes. There you go. Squeeze it up. There you go. Get it float.
In 4th place, Jimmy King is going to take over 2nd place, coming down the front stretch, but it's John Theoret in the lead in the 16.
John Theoret's got the lead, but you got quite a race going here for second place, and there's 3 boats involved. Bernard's on the inside, but second place still belongs to the piston packer and Jimmy King. It's a little bit rough out here now in the exit pit, but we've got ourselves a boat race between the second place. Looks like the 7 is just in front, but there is some speed behind the 3.
And the 3 is going to take over 2nd place, Tony, coming up the back stretch. Tom Thompson now is trying to reel in Jeff Bernard and take over 3rd place. At the top end of the course, it's the old boy Oberto with Jean Theoret in the lane number 1. Actually, he'll swinging into the lane number 1 in the exit.
You're almost at your door. 11's out there at your door.
Dude, this thing is just... 3rd place, Tom Thompson is going to pass Jeff Bernard on the front stretch.
Just make them work for it.
It's already down here to the corner. Second place now belongs solidly to the Great Lakes Hardware U3 with Jimmy King. But a great race still for 3rd. Tom Thompson's driving a huge course, but he's got 3rd place, Tony. And it is. It'll be the 11 coming out of the exit pit first, as Jeff is in some really rough
come through on anywhere. Just stay away from the buoys. Don't hit no buoys. We're on the water.
By the sound of thunder, the Terminator. He's in second.
That was a good start.
And then the 11, the Peterson Bay, followed by the 7, Graham Truckee.
Yeah, Jeff Bernard in that rough water back there, lap number 2. That was a really tough course. The tire actually turned number 2 and back way up and brought on up in fourth place. So coming up the top.
Checker flag for the 16. Good job. You hit the start. That first turn first. You did what you can do. Nice work.
And then you have Jeff Bernard finishing in fourth place across the
(2016) Hapo Columbia Cup, Heat 3B.
coming up later this afternoon for the Hapo Columbia Cup 2016. So leading the boats down the back stretch, that would be Brian Perkins.
21, Payne West Insurance, Brian Perkins.
West Insurance. That is the white boat with the checkered flag motif on that fairing on the back. The red boat, of course, would be the 5 Graham Truckee with J. Michael Kelly just out of Pasco Tire Factory turn number 2. In Tony's turn 2 right now is the 1 Home Street Bank with Jimmy
The
Shane.
5 Graham Trucking, J. Michael Kelly.
Call it Home Street Blue. We like it Columbia Blue. And then the black boat is Kevin Ekrit, 99.9 CARSON.
The 1 Home Street Bank, Miss Madison, Jimmy Shane.
Turn number 2, Tony Hunter.
All the balls look good as they head on down towards you guys. And again, it's interesting to see that.
99.9 CarStar, Miss Rock, Kevin Ekrit.
Let me just cut underneath. That's fine. 3 minutes, 30 seconds. He's right in front of you on the front chute right there.
He's pretty excited, but he's camping. As you can see right in front of you guys, he's camping right now.
He is, and also backing off the throttle coming across the 36.
From what I can see right now, Bud, you're going to run all the way down, okay? You got the 99 coming up on your outside, more speed. You'll match even a second.
From Atomic that they may incorporate in this race.
Well, we'll see if they do anything in the infield. That's where it was won.
Cut.
But do you want lane number 1? And here comes J. Michael Kelly coming across. And he's going to come in front, and it looks as if it's going to be very, very close in front of Perkins.
Yeah, let's see if he washes him down a little bit over there.
It's very close. He did get some water on him.
Yeah, that's the one thing you have to watch is that wake and rooster tail and your competitor that you're trying to slide over. So in lane number 1 now, as it stands, J. Michael Kelly, will he cut across the infield or will he hold on to that lane as the boats head up the back stretch? J. Michael Kelly.
Again, I don't want you hovering at 80.
Moving up to the 99.9. And he's going to jump out in front of the other 2 boats out there, the 21, along with the 1. And we'll see what they do. We still got just over 2 minutes. 2 minutes right now to the start.
This is nice. Drive them all the way down.
And pull right up by the 5 Graham Truckee with J. Michael Kelly. And that looks like Jimmy Shane is going to set up perhaps in lane number 4. Perkins maybe in lane number 3 as it stands right now. As they head down to the turn number 1 with the blue bridge in the background. Perfect racing conditions, 74 degrees, a light wind. As we get ready for the start of 3B from Atomic Screen Print.
Guys, they can still change lanes between here and the entrance pin to the upper corner, but I don't think you're going to see it. I think the way they're coming in front of you...
Get up there, Jimmy. Let them get up there.
That's the way it's going to be. Jimmy Shane is going to have to do this from the far outside. Watch him take that Home Street Blue thing and wind it up.
And he is getting himself some extra horsepower underneath him as he pulls up even or close to it. Now he is.
Okay, let them go. Let them go.
As he leapfrog over into lane number 3, it looks looks like he did. He got far enough out in front, and I'm thinking that's the case. No, he's still in number 4. He's still in 4 as I see it coming down the backside.
All right, so the question is now, where is Perkins going to pull? Is he going to be pushed outside? Because right now he's trailing, but he looks like he's inside.
He's in lane number 3. Perkins in 3.
Right.
Jimmy Shane is in 4 right now.
So lane number 1, the 5, J. Michael Kelly, Graham Trucking. Lane number 2, Kevin Egret in the 99.9, CARSON Power Ernest Rock. Lane number 3 will be the 21, Daryl Strong, representing West Insurance with Brian Perkins and all. Jimmy Shane, champion here on the
Nice start. Jimmy's way back, lane 4. Let's go. Check lights, and go. Lane 1 turn.
Coming 4 wide. This is a gorgeous looking start. You're exactly right. Brian Perkins got the 21 in lane number 2. J. Michael Kelly's getting it down here first.
Let's go, Jimmy. Let's go.
And on the far outside, Jimmy Shane, Tony. And they are going hard into the corner. J. Michael Kelly in the 5 will be the first one out of the exit pit. Halfway behind is 21. And he's going to be in second. But here comes Jimmy Shane in the 1. And he has got some power coming down the backside.
Kevin Egret almost lost power in Tire Factory turn number 2 in the slump. There was nowhere to go in that tunnel for Egret. Up the back stretch, Graham Trucking the 5, 4 laps in our heat 3B from Atomic Screening. J. Michael Kelly in the turn number 3. Wall one off the skid pit. Can't see around the signal, it's just too slow.
All right, swing her to 2. Bring her out to 2. Bring her out to 2. Out to 2.
Top end of the course, your race leader is the 5 Graham Trucking with J. Michael Kelly. Second place now is Jimmy Shane in the 1 on the street bank. Third place is Brian Perkins in the 21.
Saw Apex. Come through, saw Apex, come out.
I don't think Jimmy Shane can catch him from here. He's going to try and do it. But J. Michael Kelly's radio man is telling him where Shane is. And right now he's telling him he's sticking on the outside, Tony.
And that's exactly where he is at. J. Michael Kelly really walked those sponsors into the corner, but it is J. Michael Kelly way out in front. A good 3, both legs over, 3 rooster tails.
This is going to be your white flag coming up here, buddy.
Yeah, you've got about 3 rooster tails between all the competitors out there. Remember, this is a 4-lap preliminary heat. So J. Michael Kelly, top end of the course, the bright red, Graham Trucking, U5, exited in the Buffalo Brothers turn number 4 now. Here comes Jimmy Shane. He's outside.
Here comes our leader down here. We made a comment up here on the tower. When they went past Tony last time, you could just see Jimmy Shane pull his foot out. Dispersing the part of that. We're not going to win the big trophy right now.
Jimmy's giving up the battle. He is at Apex now. You have definitely.
Kelly is concerned. He slides into the 3rd lane now, and he's finding that smoother water. On the way outside now, lane 4 will be the U1, and I believe you're right, Brad. He's going to sit back and take the points where he's at, followed in 3rd place by the 21.
Yeah, the interesting
Come on,
was,
Yes, sir. Give her one for the fans. Nice job, buddy. Come get the checkered flag.
and pushing Kevin Egret outside. Those boats looked like they were glued together. They were right on.
Don't just take classes, take charge. Start your comeback today at purdueglobal.edu.
At Papa Murphy's, we build your pizza with the freshest ingredients. You take it and bake it fresh in your oven.
So technically...
Jimmy Shane.
The 2016 Hapo Columbia Cup Heat 4A.
Miss Rock. CARSON presents Miss Rock coming away from the dock. He is just about up on a plane. That is Jeff Bernard. In the U7, the Grand
The 21, Payne West Insurance, Brian Perkins.
You got one past you, but three more coming your way.
Brian Perkins did the same thing earlier today. Got out first and got into lane one. This time, Jimmy Shane is out second. He was out fourth last heat, and now he is down the backside. He is also going to camp out there, it looks like, in lane one.
The one, Home Street Bank, Miss Madison, Jimmy Shane.
Right in front of me as they start down the backside.
Hey, Tony, next time it comes around, and Mike, you check for it too. It appears on the left side fairing at the top of the Graham Trucking, they have put a small number 7. See if they put one on the right side.
On the inside, the 7, Graham Trucking 2, Jeff Bernard. On the outside, the 99.9, CARSON, Miss Rock, Kevin Ekert.
Finish line is the 21. Daryl Strong presents Payne West Insurance. That's your white boat with the checkered flag motif on the back fairing, the back of the boat. The blue boat with white is the Columbia Blue or Home Street Bank Blue with Jimmy Shane, the U1, Miss Home Street Bank down the front stretch. Top end of the course, the bright red boat, of course, that's Graham Trucking. That's the 7 with Jeff Bernard. And also we see the 99.9 CARSON powered Miss Rock with Kevin Ekert. That will be your mostly black boat with yellow and red highlights as they come across the start-finish line.
Let's start getting on it now, Jeff, because you want to be here right in about a minute. You want to get around this course in a minute, so start getting on it.
I'm not sure if he's going to jump over to lane number 1 where it is right now Brian Perkins in the 21. He's out there, looks like the legal distance to make the move across, but it looks like he's taken in 2.
Tony, you're going to notice there is a small 7 at the top of the fairing right there on the outside. You can see it on the outside of Bernard's boat right in front of you.
I can see it.
At the top end of the course.
Up on Brian, run up there. Jimmy's going to have to pass. You're at 2:12, 11, 10.
Moving a little bit outside in turn number 3. Backstretch is Bernard in the 7, Graham Trucking.
On the 21, warning, on the 21.
Line is the 99.9. Now Bernard's going to cut across to the front stretch from the back stretch. Also Kevin Ekert is coming across in the 99.9.
So is the U1 just got right straight across as well. He's going to sit back in lane number 1.
We're at 140, 1 minute.
Okay, you want to be 117 at the entrance pin, the 99's outside you?
Now will Jimmy Shane come back to the
Clear to cut.
Not sure. Looks like he's going to continue. No, he will cut across the infield. So Jimmy Shane in the Home Street Bank cutting across the infield. A little bit of slop in there that he's jumping over right now.
A little bit early.
Oh, you're right.
We're at a minute 15 right now. I don't think he'll come all the way down. Watch Jimmy's not putting his foot in it.
Slow it up.
He'll take it easy. Make a left.
Clear to cut.
On the front stretch is going to dive to the infield and cut across, and we'll see what happens when he gets over there by Jeff Bernard.
Jimmy, watch Jimmy on the inside. 99's going dead.
A complete mouthful of rooster tail, and he went down.
And whose rooster tail would have got him, Tony?
That would have been
the 7?
Jeff Bernard. 7, got him.
Okay.
2. Jimmy's in 2 on your outside. Go ahead and pick it up a hair. You want to be 22 at the entrance.
The 1 with Jimmy Shane, Home Street Bank. And a reminder, after all our coverage on the river, the Home Street Bank Rooster Tail wrap-up show on News Radio 610 KLNA and 610KLNA.com. On the outside will be the 21. Daryl Strong presents Payne West Insurance with Brian Perkins. Meanwhile, able to restart the 99.9 CARSON powered Miss Rock with Kevin Ekert on the back stretch. Clock now at 17 seconds, and we'll get the countdown from Brad. But he's way in back as he actually cuts it tight against the Minotaur.
Great start, Jimmy. Great start. Beat him to the corner. Let's go, let's go.
On the inside of the Graham Trucking.
Got a good look at 3-boat start coming down here. Jimmy Shane, like a shot out of a cannon coming down here. Lane number 2, gonna get
Under review. Start is under review.
over both Perkins and Bernard, Tony.
he'll stay there, and it will be a deck-to-deck race for number 2, as both the 21 and the 7 are deck-to-deck heading down the backside.
Yeah, that race for second place is a dandy with Perkins on the outside, Bernard on the inside. Perkins now starting to pull away about 5 foot length lead for that second place, but it's Jimmy Shane out in front. And again, this is a 4-lap preliminary race. 4-lap preliminary race. Shane into turn number 4, always sliding out wide.
We went way out. Perfect. Dig, 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 dig. Coming. At your door.
Perkins will regain second place, coming in front of Jeff Bernard on the front stretch.
Yeah, our leader Jimmy Shane's already into the entrance pin of the corner. Our race is for second place, and it is a dandy right now between Bernard and Perkins. Bernard's on the inside. Perkins.
Got him. Pull. Dig, dig, dig. You're good. Good.
That's exactly right. That's where he's going to lose some steam as he comes out of the exit pit. That allowed Jeff Bernard in the 7 to stay ahead, but here comes some power in the 21. He's getting right back, nose to nose.
Yeah, the question is, when we get to the final lap,
There you go. You're holding them off.
have enough room on the front.
Lights, check lights.
Finish line and possibly pass Bernard for that second place position coming up the top of the course. Oh, a little bit of rough water for Jimmy Shane in the H1 and the U1.
Got him by about 3. You're going to beat him back to the line, so if you can do that same thing one more time, dig hard, 2 more laps.
Looks like it's a little tougher to reel in Bernard coming down the front stretch. It took him a lot more real estate to get there.
You gotta be really careful coming down here because what is happening is Perkins is trying to drive inside Shane. He's trying to stay inside his wash, but there's just not enough room to do it. He almost lost it on the front chute, Tony.
Yes, he did, and he is really walking those sponsors right now, and he is really pushing it down as he's trying to stay in second place, but there's some extra motor coming out of the 21.
21, Brian Perkins. That's Daryl Strong presents Payne West Insurance. Perkins trying to get that second
Got
place.
2 on him is all you got. Dig hard. Check lights.
Up top of the course, Jimmy Shane into the Buffalo Brothers turn number 4. And again, at the exit pin in lane number 3.
There you go. You put him right in Jimmy's wake. Perfect. Now dig.
Bernard comes across the start-finish line. Perkins behind by about 4 boat lengths down the front stretch. Perkins is trying to catch Jim Bernard.
Here we are on lap number 4. Shane's already in the corner. Perkins driving a daylight out of that 21. Payne West Insurance, and he's just trying to stay.
Good start.
Left by Shane. If he can get through that and get clean water, I think he can run him down, Tony.
Both these boats needing some points, and there it is. The 21 takes over the lead as he comes out of the exit pit. Both of them taking some good speed. That's going to be
Get in that corner. Yeah, look rough.
Factory turn 2 that time for Brian Perkins in the 21. Daryl Strong presents Payne West Insurance. The final lap of Heat 4A from CO Energy. It's going to be Jimmy Shane coming out of the turn number 4. Buffalo Brothers turn right now. Heading to start finish line for Briggs Ace Hardware.
Go. 99's not even entered the turn yet, so you can get it going.
Second. And now can Kevin Etheridge manage to pass Jeff Bernard in the 7th?
Go! It won't go! Alright, you're okay. Watch, he's coming behind you. You're okay. Alright.
He found out that Bernard was dead in the water in front of him, but Etheridge navigates around Bernard in the disabled 7 and gets across the start-finish line, and a 3rd place finish for Kevin Etheridge in the 99.
The bottle broke when I hit the fucking roller or something. I don't know. It won't go.
And now Jeff Bernard trying to get that U7 Graham Trucking back on plane. Jimmy Shane ran away with it, but that race for second place, Tony Ott, entire factory.
1951. The eyes of the motorsports world turn to the Pacific Northwest. Location, Seattle's Lake Washington. Event, Seafair Race number 1. Hydroplane's Gold Cup is the Super Bowl of boat racing.
I grew up on Lake Washington, just north of the floating bridge. The Seattle boats used to be pitted in Leschi. So the Slummos would be pitted in Leschi and come across. So I remember them at probably 3 years old, seeing the Slummos on Lake Washington.
Today, 60 years after virtually unknown Seattle instantly went big time, Seafair is celebrating a milestone of thunderboats and rooster tails.
Dad's dad was actually here at the very first Gold Cup when the Slummos brought it back out from Detroit.
August 4th, 1951. The eyes of the motorsports world turn to the Pacific Northwest. Location, Seattle's Lake Washington. Event, Seafair Race number 1. Hydroplane's Gold Cup is the Super Bowl of boat racing.
I grew up on Lake Washington, just north of the floating bridge. The Seattle boats used to be pitted in Leschi. So the Slummos would be pitted in Leschi and come across. So I remember them at probably 3 years old, seeing the Slummos on Lake Washington.
Today, 60 years after virtually unknown Seattle instantly went big time, Seafair is celebrating a milestone of thunderboats and rooster tails.
Dad's dad was actually here at the very first Gold Cup when the Slummos brought it back out from Detroit. Our families have been involved, and I'm honored, as Kaylee is honored, to be racing at this race, especially on the 60th anniversary.
60 years of racing translates into hundreds of boats, thousands of fans, and a countless number of memories. Today, you will journey down Hydro's memory lane while keeping an eye on the present and future.
To have the opportunity to have this 60th race and be involved in it is an honor in and of itself. If I could win it, well, that'd just be icing on the cake.
So fire up the grill, invite the family, friends, and neighbors, then get ready. This is Cairo 7's exclusive presentation of the 60th annual hydroplane race in Seattle. It is Seafair time, and we're set to present the 2010 Albert Lee Cup.
Not how you.
This is the Budweiser Startup Show, brought to you by Budweiser, the great American lager, by Beacon Plumbing. Stop freaking, call Beacon at 1-800-FREAKIN.
More different personalities, not only on the race course, but off the race course. They are entirely different kind of individuals.
I'll tell you, after covering this guy for so many years in the cockpit as he was a racer, there was no one more focused. And at times, people thought maybe that you had a little bit of an edge to you. And look how you've mellowed over
You with edge?
No, it's true. When I was racing, I took it so serious. I got so focused. Competition does this. And, you know, we can talk about Paul Becker and Kaylee Perkins. They were great buddies until last year, actually. And now, after the Seafair race, there's a little animosity there as well.
Well, let's talk about the team totals right now, because that's also going to be something we're going to look at, because that means so much into who continues racing to go to the Middle East, which is really the big carrot out there for all these teams, right?
And the reason it's a big carrot is it's a lot of money, because these boats make about $15,000 per race. But if they can be one of the 10 that go to Qatar, they will make $125,000. So if you look at the standings here, the boats there in the U-13, the U-25, and the U-57, they are desperate to be one of the 10 boats to go to Qatar to cash in on that $125,000.
All right, well, Chip's going to join us back here again in less than an hour. There are 14 races today, and he'll be here for all of the action. We can check in with Chris Francis, our sports director. I think so, yes. He's going to be at the pits all day, and one of the teams he's watching is the defending champion, the U-96 Spirit of Qatar. And I know we were talking with Chip earlier, there's been some debate over the pronunciation, whether it's Qatar or Qatar, but talking with Boeing officials, it is indeed Qatar, and I've always heard you say it that way, too.
Qatar is what us newsies, as you know, like to call it. But Chris is with the defending Chevy Cup champion from years past, and now he's hoping to be the champion of the Albert Lee Cup here at Seafair. Chris?
He certainly is, Steve, and just here signing autographs and stuff, and nice enough to join us real quick for an interview here. And Steve's staying up in the booth, defending champ, and you had a great day yesterday, a great start to your runs.
It's a good start. You know, we needed to get points, and we got those. This one's going to be a lot harder. We're running from the complete outside again, so But the weather looks good, water looks good. We're just going to let her fly.
Yeah, it was a little bit bumpy yesterday. I know that's what you said, and everybody said it looked easy. How do you keep that going today? I know the first tee, yeah, you're running on the outside.
We just got to race our way in. You know, we have to run very, very hard here, and hopefully we can get to the front. But probably unlikely, a lot of fast boats inside of us. So what we have to do is just do the best we can and try to start working our way and racing our way towards that inside lane again for the final. So just a lot of hard work today.
We've been asking you about this rivalry all week long. This is what the fans want to see. You'll be in the first heat here. You know, it's going to be a tough job overtaking your time. Your lap times were pretty much the same yesterday.
Yeah, but we've been a little better in rough water, and I notice their boat's a little flighty, so we'll see how it pans out when we get to the race course. We'll see how rough the race course gets, but it's hard to pass anybody on the outside here in Seattle because of the rough water. So we'll just see, take a good heavy swing at the bat and see what happens.
I'm sure we'll be watching you all day long, Steve. Thanks so much.
Hey, thanks.
That's Dave Vilwalk. We'll be back to you, Steve.
All right, Chris, thanks very much. And we have our microphone problem, we believe, fixed with our Mike Fitzsimmons at the start-finish line. So, Mike, when we last chatted, we were talking about how the weather might affect the racing today.
Seattle weather is always unpredictable, Steve, and as a result, you never know what you're going to get. Now, as you heard Rebecca say, we're not going to really see a whole lot of wind today. We're not going to see a whole lot of chop on the water caused by the wind. But she did say this. Toward the afternoon, the wind will pick up out of the southwest. Now, you don't need a lot of wind in that south turn, in turn number 1, to cause the water to start chopping up and frothing up and leaving you rollers 3 and 4 feet with big troughs in between. And when everybody goes charging into that corner, that is a dangerous turn. There's no getting around it. And if you just get a 10 or 12 mile an hour wind from the start line to the first turn, what happens is that right sponson, especially at high speed as you're charging down in that first lap, the right sponson likes to lift. And when it lifts, if it catches just enough wind and catches a roller at the same time, you'll lift up above the horizon and there's no getting it back.
So in these conditions, Mike, who do you think would work best in this?
Well, it depends, Angela. There's a lot of different things that these crews are doing, and this is a team sport. The driver himself is out there, or herself, as the case may be, attempting to master these waters in the condition they find them. But the reality is that the crews are trying to set it up with the best possible boat ride. The key is get above it. Don't hit it and allow it to launch you away. Get above it to where you bounce over the top of it. They'll be working on that, but the conditions, obviously, this is unlike motor racing with wheels. The track changes virtually every lap around, so we have to set the boat up in such a way that it's going to be able to handle almost anything we could expect in a 3-lap or 5-lap final, as the case may be. And that being the case, the crews will be adjusting wings, looking at the ride of the boat. The driver will be working the canards pretty much on this front straightaway, and anything can happen. But the weather is always a factor in Seattle, even when it's really hot.
Mike, 40 years in this sport, 25 with us here at Cairo 7. Go out on a limb for us. What do you think? Who wins today?
Steve, this is a sport of ironies. If the last 60 years of Seafair haven't taught us that, then it hasn't taught us anything. I am looking at a driver who has actually, for the 4 races thus far this season, this being the 4th, of course, has let the race come to him in a way I haven't seen in a young driver in years. And this fellow does not have the fastest boat, but J. Michael is, in my view, the fellow who is going to be able to pull this off. You saw a move yesterday, and we'll show it to you when we run the heat, in which he literally created a condition for himself, planned it in advance, almost 3/4 of a lap in advance, and was able to take advantage of it. This guy is watching the other fellows thinking, how can I put myself in a position to win? So I'm going with J. Michael Kelly and an upset today.
All right, Mike, thank you so much. We'll talk to you a little bit later.
Now, a driver profile presented by 76. We're on the driver's side.
Perhaps the most prominent driver currently on the H1 Unlimited hydroplane circuit is Auburn, Washington native Dave Vilwalk. Racing since 1992, Vilwalk now drives the Spirit of Qatar, formerly known as the Miss Elam Plus. Vilwalk has racked up 60 career victories, just 3 away from becoming the all-time winningest driver in unlimited hydroplane racing history. Last season, the Elam Plus was first in victories, but finished 2nd overall in points behind the old boy Alberto Miss Madison. After a win at Seafair last year, Vilwalk seeks to record yet another victory on Lake Washington.
Driver Profile is presented by 76. Bring your 76 gas receipt to their tent at Seafair and get a free gift.
I just got an online offer to sell this mom van to CarMax. It only took 2 minutes. I could take those singing lessons that I've always wanted to take. I have a beautiful soprano voice. I could do pole.
And welcome to the Albert Lee Cup at Seafair. It is time to go racing with unlimited heat. 1A, here is the rundown. The old boy Alberto, Steve David on the inside, 2 straight driving championships. Greg Hopp has been fast in the Lay's kettle cooked boat. Miss Albert Lee, Brian Perkins. The Miss Red Dot, Kip Brown. Nate Brown is the team owner there. The Spirit of Detroit, Miss Jillians, with Cal Phipps at the controls, and the Miss Peterson May, the rookie John Zimmerman behind the wheel. It's unlimited Heat 1A. And the clouds have broken just a bit, but the drizzle continues here on Lake Washington as we get set to race. And Chip Hanauer, as we look at this list, Steve David has it pretty much the way he wants it, doesn't he?
Not really. It's a big change here. Yesterday, Greg Hopp in the Lay's kettle corn really stepped up his speed. Steve David thought as long as he didn't draw Vilwalk, he was fine. But now all of a sudden, he's got his hands full of Greg Hopp.
Pat O'Day, the big boats are back on the waters of Lake Washington.
Alberto just came by our start-finish line tower, passing out Pepperoni, and Steve David wants to pass everybody. And in his Alberto, he wants that national championship, but he better look out because Greg Hopp and Kit Brown are both looking quick. Mike Fitzsimmons will call it for us.
Here they come around the top of the course now, Patrick, as they are already established in terms of their lane. Steve David in the Alberto in lane 1. The Lay's boat with Greg Hopp in lane 2. Albert Lee in lane 3. The Red Dot in 4 with Kip Brown. The Julians with Cal Phipps and the Peterson May in the 6th lane. They come to the line. Looks like we're going to have a picture-perfect start here. Steve David nails it as they come down to the first turn here with plenty of speed. This was one of the better starts we've seen this year, Chip, and we've got a lot of traffic.
Brian Perkins right there in the lane 3. He really's got a lot of boat speed. I'm really amazed. That's the fastest I've seen that boat ever go.
And they get them sorted out of the exit pin down there, and it's down the back chute. Steve David has got the lead, but it looks like the real battle is between Brian Perkins and Greg Hopp, who are side by side in second place and within the rooster tail of the old boy Alberto. Now, as you know, Steve David has a slim lead of 370 points, national high points, and he did not pick Dave Vilwalk in this heat, so he has a chance to go up on him depending upon what luck befalls Vilwalk in the next heat, and he's trying to make sure he gets away clean with this one. At the end of lap number 1, Steve David in the old boy Alberto has got a very strong lead, and Greg Hopp is now being challenged by Kip Brown in the 17 boat.
And Dave turned the first lap at 142.051.
142.051 for the first lap. Steve David out in front in the old boy Alberto and in the points chase, but right behind him and still putting on the pressure is Greg Hopp, and then Brian Perkins in the Albert Lee is behind those two in third place. And we've sorted this out now to a certain extent, but we still have some pressure on the outside from Kip Brown, who has now passed the Albert Lee going into the turn number 2, excuse me, the North Turner Bridge turn in a real hurry up there. Out of the corner comes the old boy Alberto. We got several of them bunched up there, and our finish order in the second lap is going to be the old boy Alberto out front. Still Greg Hopp in the Lay's kettle cooked is right in their second place now, just now passing. It'll be Kip Brown driving the Red Dot as he comes by. Now there's a disabled U100 boat. The kettle, the Lay's kettle looks like it got cooked, and unfortunately he falls back to 4th place now as Stephen David running some rough water up the back chute has everything his way. Kip Brown has established 2nd place, and Chip, it looks like Kip Brown has got a lot of boat speed out there.
Very surprising the boat speed he's showing. And I also want to talk about that start. In the years past, we've talked about boats fighting for lanes. These boats were assigned lanes by their qualifying speed. Back to you, Mike.
Yes, they were. And coming down to pick up 400 points in a first place in Heat 1A, it's going to be just the way he had planned it. Steve David in the old boy Alberto, about 3 rooster tails ahead of his nearest competition. And that's because his earlier nearest competition broke just on this front straightaway. Across the line now comes Kip Brown. Very, very impressive run for Kip Brown in the Red Dot. Albert Lee comes across the line in 3rd place with Brian Perkins. And finally getting the beams back again is the U100 Lay's kettle cooked. And 4th place overall. Well, we got a little bit of a battle going, but it looks as though it's going to be John Zimmerman in the Peterson May, followed by the 13 boat Miss Jillians with Cal Phipps, who's had some mechanical difficulty personalities out here getting qualified and getting in this race.
Lee?
All right, Steve, this turned into a race for second place pretty quickly. Did you mean this to be a statement race?
We're really just trying to make the Alberto run better each time. We tried a different combination. It worked really well in this heat. The goal is to win this thing come time for the final, so we have to progress every heat, but certainly we'll take those 400 points and move on down the road.
How about conditions? That's been the question of the day. We've had rain, we've had wind. Has it been affecting you guys while you're out there?
Seattle's always rough, so it's what you expect and you set up for it, so the conditions were perfect, and the Alberto loves this rough water.
Yeah. This is a great start then for you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Steve, back to you.
All right, Lee, and here are now the official results. Again, oh boy, Alberto and Steve David on top. The speed showed by the red dot. They pick up a second place. Lays Kettle Cook along with Peters and May, Miss Jillian's, and the Miss Albert Lee Appliance. We continue unlimited racing with Heat 1B. Here is your lineup. The fastest boat on the water this weekend, Dave Villwock, starts on the inside. Then Jeff Bernard in the FormulaBoats.com. J. Michael Kelly in the Graham Trucking Boat. Mark Evans is back in the race along with Mike Webster and Ken Muscatel in the U25 Car Approach. Could not get that boat going. It's unlimited Heat 1B. Cool cloud, a little chop on the water, but Chip Hanauer, the race here in this particular heat may be between Jeff Bernard and J. Michael Kelly.
This Formula Boat team is running 3 boats, and Jeff Bernard wants nothing more than to beat his teammate, J. Michael Kelly. I think we're going to really focus on that second place race between those teammates.
Pat, Dave Villwock, 10-time winner here in Seattle, wants to win it again.
And he's got crosshairs on his back. These guys want to get him. There's 3 red boats. One has a bird on the tail. The other has a football-sized Graham Trucking sign. Helping you separate those boats. Mike Fitzsimmons, it's your call.
3 boats from Indiana in there with the Spirit of Cutter, and that's, of course, the 96 boat. There are 3 former Seafair winners here on these waters in this competition, and Dave Villwock is one of them. So is Mark Evans, 2 of them in this heat. As they come around, of course, the starting positions are predicated on the qualifying speeds, and that's what put the 96 boat inside the Spirit of Cutter. And Dave Villwock has got a good head of steam coming down here to the line. We're going to have a perfect start here. Leading him across the line, that was J. Michael Kelly in the Graham Trucking. He had an absolutely picture-perfect start in the 3-lane as they come across. Both he and Jeff Bernard, along with Dave Villwock, go rocketing through that first turn. Chip, Dave Villwock has phenomenal speed.
He does, but watch these 2 boats here. Those are the 2 teammates we talked about. Jeff Bernard out-qualified him by a little bit, so he's got the inside lane, but watch how fast J. Michael Kelly's working on that outside.
Now you're seeing the Spirit of Cutter up the back chute, and the boat seems to have a lot of air underneath it, and if you think that's the case, you're exactly right. That's the way Dave Villwock likes to drive this boat. He likes to fly it. The least amount of wet surface equals the least amount of drag, and the faster the boat will go, and there's no question about it, but this one is the class of the fleet when it comes to speed. In second place among the Reds, it is Jeff Bernard. And in the 5 boat, FormulaBoats.com, followed by J. Michael Kelly in the Graham Trucking in that order, and their teammate Mark Evans is in 4th place right now in the Washington Truck Dispatch, followed by the Matrix System boat. That's Mike Webster out of Pennsylvania.
Boy, J. Michael Kelly right there made a crossover move. He went over Jeff Bernard's weight to get inside of him, and if Jeff Bernard doesn't know he's there, his radio team should tell him that. J. Michael Kelly still's got a chance there on that inside to get him, and I think this is going to be a good boat race.
Oh, and he got a little loose there. We saw an awful lot of the underside of that race boat for J. Michael Kelly for a moment there as he took that inside lane. He's fighting a little slop from the wake of his teammate. Meanwhile, staying out in front of it all and attempting to get 400 points and stay even with Steve and David as far as the point spread is concerned in national points. That is the Spirit of Cutter, and that is Dave Villwock coming across the line. 1st place, 2nd place, it's Jeff Bernard. 3rd place now by a rooster tail and a half. It is the Graham Trucking and J. Michael Kelly. And in 4th place, still way back, of a half a straightaway away from, or a half a course, I should say, away from the lead boat. That would be Mark Evans.
It'd be interesting to know if Jeff Bernard did not pull in a lane in that floating bridge turn because Kelly was coming up on the inside, and suddenly Kelly had to go through his rooster tail. I think he changed lanes, but we'll see what the referees
It was a little tight up there. But one thing's for sure, if you are not having to entertain a crowd, you can do things your own way, and that's exactly what Dave Villwock is about to demonstrate as he comes down to eye the checkered flag and win Heat 1B of the Albert Lee Cup at Seafair. And the Spirit of Cutter across the line with the flag. Second place, Jeff Bernard. He comes across the line about 3 rooster tails back of the Spirit of Cutter, and in third place, about by the same distance, it would be the Graham Trucking.
And Villwock turned a quick lap in that first time around, 145.834.
We have a penalty on Bernard, just as you observed there, Mr. O'Day. It appears as though he did not give a sufficient overlap, and that means his teammate picks up second place. That would be the Graham Trucking. So, and this, by the way, Chip, is the kind of racing that we've been seeing from J. Michael Kelly. Put on the pressure, make sure you make somebody make a mistake, but make sure you're safe in the process. That's just what he did.
I mean, J. Michael Kelly. For J. Michael Kelly to go, that's an infraction.
Dave Villwock, and we waited most of the day to get it done, but pretty easy for you there.
Yeah, it was a lot tougher than it looked. It was real rough. The thing was trying to swap ends up on the other end. I was in a couple of troughs, but managed to get it lit and get it to the starting line. It looks like J. Michael or somebody had a tough time up here. Probably it's some big ruts out there that were causing some problems.
All right, the only drawback, you didn't get Steve David in the draw, so maybe next time.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. It just pays our money and takes our chances.
All right, Steve, back to you.
So here now the official results, Unlimited Heat 1B. And Dave Villwock, of course, taking the win. Graham Trucking, followed by Washington Truck Dispatch, Matrix, Formula Boats, and the Car Pros boat did not start. And we're getting set to go racing for real, for live here on this Sunday morning with the 2 fastest boats in the same heat. Heat 2A coming your way shortly here at the Albert Lee Cup at Seafair.
Cracked windshield on your new car? You don't have to take it to the dealer. Bring it to Safelite.
Preparing Steve right now. They're putting the final touches in, getting the boat in the water. This is his second run of the day. He took the boat out a little while ago just to test the waters and to test some changes that the crew is only terming at this point special sauce. They're not really cluing Steve into some of those changes that they had made before the run because they didn't want him to overthink it. They want to keep it simple for the driver, and Steve says that he really appreciates that the crew does that for him. So they're just putting him into position right now. He says he is not taking any of these heats or any of the races for granted. He knows that every single one of them counts, but he's going to get a look at the conditions for today as well. That was a real issue yesterday. The rain, the wind, it seems it's all back today. He says he's not concerned about it, that actually the choppy water is what the Oberter likes to run in. So he's actually excited to get out there and really give it a spin. Back to you.
All right, Lee, who will be following things in the pits along with our Chris Francis down there. The change, the lanes, the lane assignments today, as opposed to yesterday, easy going, Chip, yesterday. Today, not so easy.
Well, first, let's go back to years past where they fought for the lanes. Now they're assigned lanes in the first heat by qualifying speed. But this heat is very special because they're reversing the order of finish from the second heat. So now Dave Villwock is on the far outside, and just to his inside is Steve David and Oberto. This is the race that Steve David in the Oberto has to beat Dave Villwock to have any chance of getting that inside lane for the final.
Mike Fitzsimmons out the start-finish line. You'll be calling the race. What do you see out of that competition, those two guys, where they have to come from outside in to try to win this heat?
Well, Chip pretty well stated it. If Steve David doesn't do it here, he isn't going to do it. It is as simple as that. He has to control this heat if it's at all possible to do so. He's going to have a faster boat. And, I mean, this boat has been 5 miles an hour faster all week long out here in qualifying and in its initial heats yesterday. The Spirit of Cutter is a faster boat, and he's going to take a larger race course, and he has to be able to drive around the old boy Oberto before he can shorten the size of the race course that he's going to run. And Pat, that simply means that Steve David either has it or he doesn't.
Well, clouds and all, this is setting up to be one of the great heats of racing of the year. Yes, the Qatar is a little bit faster than Steve David and the Alberto, but Steve's got the inside lane. This is such a critical heat for him as you look at the entire season as one big picture.
And don't ignore the rest of the traffic. They could play a role in especially into the first turn as to how this one shapes up.
J. Michael Kelly, your selection will be in the pack there somewhere.
Well, as a matter of fact, let's head down to the pits right now and talk about at least one of those other boats that may be in the mix. Anything can happen, as we know, out here on Hydro Sunday. Chris Francis is near the Graham Trucking pits. Chris.
Yes, Steve, I have actually all three boats, Spirit of Cutter here and the U-17 and also J. Michael Kelly's boat as well, and they're all getting ready here down in the pits. And I spoke with Dave Vilwalk. Obviously, we spoke with him an hour ago on the air, but I spoke with him after that and just asked him what it's going to be like to run on the outside. And he said, you know, I know this race course. I'm going to be good in rough water, which he's going to see. And, yeah, it's just a matter of time if he can keep his boat where he wants it on the outside before he gets by Steve David. So he's not really worried about being on the outside because, of course, he's got that faster boat, faster than almost anybody out here. But keep an eye on Kip Brown because he was very fast yesterday in some of the heats, and so he is maybe a dark horse in this one. But they look like they're all ready to go here, and especially Dave Vilwalk on that outside.
Now, a driver profile presented by 76. We're on the driver's side.
At the controls of the U-100 is powerboat racing veteran Greg Hopp. This Snohomish native has raced boats since he was only 9 years old. Most recently, Hopp became the driver for the Leland Unlimited team after the legendary Chip Hanauer retired in the year 1999. Hopp captured Rookie of the Year honors that season, but he is still seeking his first career victory on the Unlimited circuit. Behind the wheel of an Unlimited Light, however, has been a totally different story. His 20 victories on the Unlimited Light circuit make him the winningest driver in the history of that class.
Driver Profile is presented by 76. Bring your 76 gas receipt to their tent at Seafair and get a free gift.
Hey, what do you say we go racing? Heat 2A for the Unlimited boats here on Lake Washington. Here are your headlines. This is where the battle is joined. It begins now. The Alberto and the Cutter boats, they're on the water. What about the Graham Trucking boat? Fast and hungry. Let's see how they measure up. And the Red Dot boat, they've got some speed today. Can they compete? We'll see. It's the Unlimited Heats 2A.
Welcome to Flatiron School. This is where you learn how the future works, where the whole point of education.
And here are your Muckleshoot starting lineups for this Heat 2A. The Miss Albert Lee, Peters and May, Red Dot, Graham Trucking, and there to the outside, the Oak Boy Alberto, and then the fastest boat on the course, the Spirit of Cutter. Speaking of the course, as we take a look at the waters, again, a gray, kind of lumpy day out there, but the boats are out. They're getting set. Chilly 66, but the wind's not kicking up too badly as we head off to check out the drivers at the controls of the fastest boats on the water. And here you go, the Albert Lee Perkins boat, the U-21 with Brian Perkins at the controls. Mike.
And Brian's going to have to show something here. He only got 169 points in competition yesterday. He needs to step it up because his performance was not strong.
In the Peters and May boat, John Zimmerman, the rookie, and Chip, the adrenaline's kind of going a little bit in him, I would think.
It is, but he's really got a short sword here. This boat was leased from Fred Leland to replace the boat that was damaged in Detroit when J.W. Myers hit the wall. He doesn't really stand much of a chance here.
Nate Brown's team with his nephew Kip Brown at the controls, the Miss Red Dot. Mike, they showed some speed yesterday. We didn't know they had.
They did, and he'll be starting from the middle of the pack also, so he will be a factor on this start. Watch where that yellow, red, and blue boat goes.
J. Michael Kelly, Mike Fitzsimmons, not so dark horse, Chip.
You know, not so dark horse, especially from yesterday. I think this is one of the most gifted drivers I've ever seen. He pulled a great move yesterday to give him a second place. He's one to watch not only in this heat, but all day long.
I don't know how much more we can say about the Alberto team and Steve David, other than that they're the defending driving champs. And Mike, they need to get points because they're competing head-to-head with Cutter.
Absolutely, the monkey's on this boat's back and Steve David's back. He has basically taken a hit on 17 on the blackjack table.
Lee Stoll, the sausage boat is out on the water. Steve David, a confident driver.
He's not expecting that big lead that he had in the heat yesterday. The crew is saying that he's expecting this to be a tight, packed race. Not only what he does right, but also watching out for the other drivers and, of course, keeping his eye on the Spirit of Cutter.
And that's the boat just to his outside, the defending champ here at Seafair, Dave Villwock.
You know, there's a national championship at stake. Dave Villwock is behind because of some mistakes he made. He needs to beat Alberto every time he gets them so he can win that national championship that will come to a conclusion in Cutter.
Chris Francis, the fastest boat on the course.
What lane is that? There's no question that's
Got a confident driver here in Dave Villwock, just like Steve David. And as a matter of fact, I've got a prediction here of 2 laps from one of the crew members here before he overtakes Steve David, guys.
All right, Pat, here they come, the big boys.
Steve David, if he's going to win the national championship again, the place is Lake Washington. The time is now. He needs to win this heat. Mike Fitzsimmons calls them.
As they come to the line, Pat, we've 10 seconds left on the clock, and of course the guys to watch are on the outside, but the fellows in the middle, J. Michael Kelly and Kip Brown, are going to control this start to some extent. We hit the line a little late, but they are at the front end of that fleet as they come through. You're watching them in the middle of your screen, and right now, Dave Villwock is way outside and hanging back, just waiting to see how this lower corner sorts out. Chip?
Mike, if that was either a perfect start or J. Michael Kelly jumped the gun, it is going to be very, very close. If he didn't jump the gun, that was perfect.
And up the back chute now, we have J. Michael Kelly running out front at this point, along with Kip Brown to the outside of him and trying to drive around boats that are not quite as fast, but fast enough to cause a problem. That is Steve David in the Old Boy Alberto, and you're seeing that we've got foggy conditions on the race course at this time. Peters and May, which went down at the first quarter, has gotten restarted. Across the line, Kip Brown will lead them with J. Michael Kelly in second place, and in the outside lane, we've got Steve David in the Old Boy Alberto, and here comes very strong from the far outside, the Spirit of Cutter and Dave Villwock. As they come into the corner, lots of convergence into that turn. But Kip Brown's getting a great boat ride out there in this rough water, and he's running very well inside as they pass by the U-21 boat there, the Albert Lee. Up the back chute now, and let's check out how this continues to sort out. The Albert Lee putting on the pressure from the inside, and Kip Brown, and that's the view from the Albert Lee as we look right out the window and see exactly what Brian Perkins is seeing as they come out of this corner. Lots of traffic. Mike, Kip Brown has gotten a penalty, is going to have to go another time around, and that leaves the lead now at this point to the Graham Trucking boat.
Mike, I think the big story here is now what's going on up front, which is a great boat race. But Dave Villwock is back in, what, 4th or 5th place. This means a lot with regard to the national championship and lane pick as we go through the day today.
He's in physical 4th place. But of course, the boat that leads the green boat, green and white, Pat O'Day, is actually penalized. He's not really the leader. But here we have J. Michael Kelly taking advantage of the situation from the middle of the race course. He's going to get a checkered flag if he can hold it. But right now, Stephen David is putting the pressure on him.
The quickest lap so far has been 139. That was the first time around. In these waters, that's flying.
Mike, J. Michael Kelly, as we've been touting all weekend long, has driven great. He did a great move yesterday. That was a perfect start, and look what it results in.
And what it results in is 400 points because J. Michael Kelly and the Graham Trucking takes the checkered flag in this heat 2A. And Stephen David will take second place, but as you mentioned earlier on, the Spirit of Cutter just didn't seem to have the ability to catch these guys from the outside. Whether that was deliberate, I doubt it was, because the points that have to be given up because of that outcome are simply not going to be acceptable.
Now, we know Kip Brown was penalized a lot, but are you sure that the Albert Lee appliance was also Brian Perkins.
I'm not sure that Brian Perkins' kit was the only one that
Brian would be your winner if he wasn't, if he didn't jump the gun, and the Graham trucking with Brian with J. Michael Kelly would be second.
Thank you for sorting that out, and you're correct about that. Physically, that was the case. I confused those two boats. It was Kit who was in trouble, but not Brian, and Brian physically finished across the line first.
I tell you, nobody could have predicted this heat. This was an amazing heat, and it's going to have ramifications not only for today, because now lanes are assigned by point totals. It's going to have big ramifications for the national title. So this one heat, as Pat said, going into it, might be the most important heat of the season.
Chris Francis is getting into position. He'll have Brian Perkins here in just a moment, the pilot of the Albert Lee boat. But in the meantime, let's talk to Steve David. He's with our Lee Stoll.
All right, Steve, I know you're pulling the cords out of your ears right now, so we'll try and make this easy for you. You put the thumbs up as you pulled in. Was that a good race for you, considering how far back you ended up?
Well, we needed to stay ahead of Dave Villwock for our National Points Championship race, so that was really, have Jimmy check that here, that was really the purpose of that heat, was to beat him in points, and we did. So it increases our National Championship lead, and then we'll worry about winning the race at the final.
So at this race, it really wasn't looking at the final of it. You were looking where Cutter was.
Exactly, because he and I are really in the points race at this point, and we had to beat him. We did that. Guys on the inside had a great race. There was no chance we were going to get them from way out where we were.
Tight, packed turns right there. Pretty close racing.
Oh, exciting stuff.
Is that how you like it?
Oh, I love it, and Oberto just eats that stuff up. The boat's set up for it.
All right, let's toss it to Chris Francis, who has the winner.
All right, thanks, Lee. A lot of hugs and very big smiles, and I'm with the winner here. And boy, one of your guys just came up and said you ran with the big dogs, and I was a little upset there.
Yeah, a little bit. We had position on him there at that in being in lane one. And the Albert Lee team has done an amazing job setting up this boat. We've had a hard time earlier this weekend with handling and stuff like that, but we tried a bunch of things this morning and it worked really well. And we really needed that first place points right there to get in the final, so that was huge.
And there was some question about penalty there. You didn't know what was going on, all of a sudden, and then all of a sudden they erupted here with the cheers and the clapping.
Yeah, I mean, I know I was legal on the start, and I know that a few boats were really close, and they said a couple boats jumped. I don't know if there were any other penalties other than that, but just an amazing win here for the Albert Lee team, and glad to do it for Albert.
A little Perkins weekend going on here, I guess.
So far, so good, yeah.
All right, guys, back to you in the booth.
Chris Francis is with J. Michael Kelly. Let's check with him right now.
I am Steve, and boy, what a start. And I know you couldn't get the Albert Lee there at the end, but that was a quick start, and you got to run pretty good.
Oh, man, what a great race. Keep Oberto and Qatar boat behind us. That just shows how much everybody else has come through, and as of right now, I think anybody can win this race.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, it jumbles it up here. I mean, the guys in the booth are talking about, wow, what a final we could have. What are your thoughts on how your boat can fit in all that mix there?
Oh, I mean, my ride out there showed me that if I can get an inside lane, I can beat anybody. These Graham Trucking guys have given me an absolutely amazing boat, and we just continue to get faster and faster. So, I don't know how the points work out right now, but if the further we get inside, the better shot we're going to have in that final.
All right, J-Mark, a lot of racing to go. Good luck to you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, guys, back to you.
Well, we know the young man can drive. He won at Doha last year, and here are your unofficial results with the Miss Albert Lee winning Heat 2A. The Graham Trucking, oh boy, Oberto comes in and picks up some points over the Spirit of Cutter, Peters and May, and the Miss Red Dot there bringing up the rear. The results of Unlimited Heat 2A.
Now, a driver profile presented by 76. We're on the driver's side.
Another Northwest native racing in this year's Albert Lee Cup is J. Michael Kelly. J. Michael was Rookie of the Year in 2004. This is his 7th Unlimited season and his 2nd year with the U7 Graham Trucking team. In 2009, J. Michael Kelly captured his first career victory at the inaugural World Cup Championship in Doha, Qatar. Other highlights include a 2nd-place finish behind teammate Jeff Bernard at the Thunder on the Ohio race in Evansville, Indiana. When not racing for Graham Trucking, J. Michael Kelly is a finish carpenter in his hometown of Puyallup.
Driver Profile is presented by 76. Bring your 76 gas receipt to their tent at Seafair and get a free gift.
They said wizardry only appears in fairy tales. But when you arrange some mystical-looking...
We're ready to go racing again. Heat 2B for the Unlimiteds here on Lake Washington. Here are the headlines for this one. Greg Hopp in the U100. He had a fast Heat 1. Can he do it again in Heat 2B? We'll see. The 3 Formula boats are racing today, led by young Mr. Bernard. Let's see how the red boats do. And the Flying Doctor, Ken Muscatel. Does he use tape and glue and paper clips to hold together that boat? The U25 will find out. These are the stories in Heat 2B. Taking a look at the boats here in Heat 2B for the Unlimiteds, the Miss Jillian's, FormulaBoats.com, Washington Truck Dispatch, Matrix, the Lay's Kettle Cooked, and there's Car Pros on the outside. Ken Muscatel's boat. As we look out at the water, again, a little bit lumpier than a few moments ago, and now those clouds are really starting to drop down low to the deck. We'll keep an eye on that. Winds, however, staying at about 4 miles an hour. Let's check in on the drivers who will be controlling these fast boats in not such great conditions. The top of the list, the Miss Jillian's, Cal Phipps leading the way, Mike.
Cal's had a disappointing weekend. His boat has not been performing well. He got a couple of fast laps out of it, but mostly he's had mechanical gremlins. Hopefully, they're gone and he's ready to go.
The U5 FormulaBoat.com with Jeff Bernard at the controls. Just yesterday, penalized, Chip.
Last year, Jeff Bernard was kind of the first string driver for the Formula Boats team. J. Michael Kelly has kind of stepped into that first string. Jeff Bernard is not happy about it. He needs to make a statement here.
Chris Francis in the pits. Are they ready to make that statement, Chris?
I think they are. They are still actually in awe of what just happened in that last heat. And they are buoyed, no pun intended, by the confidence they have from what J. Michael Kelly did. So they'll be inside. And Jeff Bernard, you mentioned the penalty in the last heat. Hopefully it doesn't happen to him this time and puts on a good show here.
The Truck Dispatch, the U57, a former champion here in Seattle, Mark Evans.
It sure is nice to see Mark Evans back. His name, the Evans family name, figures so much into Seafair history. And to have Mark back in the saddle after a serious back injury and have him come back to Unlimited Hydroplane Racing. Same old personality, just bubbling over all the time, no matter what he drives.
Matrix System boat hasn't shown a whole lot, but Mike Webster, a young driver, the Rookie of the Year a year ago, Chip.
This is a total family operation. Father and son put this boat together. Mike is just trying to demonstrate his ability as a driver. They know they really can't do much damage with this boat.
I'm pulling for the Lay's Kettle Cook because, Mike, they just sent up some potato chips up here to the booth.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good choice anyway, though. At Detroit, this boat was very fast. At Tri-Cities, not so fast. Here, seems to have found the speed again. He's coming from the outside, though, on the start. So this will be interesting to see if he hooks up with the Formula Boats out of that first corner.
Dr. Ken Muscatel tore that boat up a couple of weeks ago in Tri-Cities, but Chip, he's got it back together again.
Ken Muscatel was the guy that really put the Cutter deal together. He desperately wants to get back, but that damage that he incurred in Tri-Cities just got fixed. This is his first heat of the Albert Lee Cup. I don't think he's going to make it to Cutter no matter what he does here.
Lee, they've been working hard on that boat all morning.
That boat
slept in 48. Some of the crew telling me they hadn't slept in 48 hours trying to put this boat back together. The duct tape was still going on it as they were pulling away from the dock. So to say that Ken and the crew are anxious for this heat is an understatement.
And with a welcome to all the listeners on 950 KJR and worldwide at KairoTV.com. Pat O'Day, the floor is yours.
Well, when the helicopter shot comes up for you watching on television, look at the number 2 lane, which is Jeff Bernard, probably the quickest boat out there. But out in the number 5 lane will be Greg Hopp in the Lay's Kettle Cooker, the U100. Those are the 2 quickest ones, and they should be able to stage quite a battle here in Heat 2A or 2B.
They come around with 20 seconds left on the clock. Cal Phipps will have the inside lane, but not the advantage as far as horsepower is concerned. The advantage clearly from lane 2 is going to be Jeff Bernard in the Formula Boats, but let's watch the 100 coming from the 5 lane on the outside, and he's going to come on strong as well. We're a little early at the line, 1 second. We're perhaps okay. If so, Jeff Bernard was right there when he had to be. A little bit of a fudge there. It looks like we may be okay as far as the start is concerned into the first corner. It is Jeff Bernard taking control of things from the 2 lane as anticipated. Cal Phipps got sideways a little bit, is having trouble controlling his boat from the inside lane there. They're running through some troughs, and out front goes Jeff Bernard. But here on the outside, far outside, here comes the Lay's Kettle Cooked with Greg Hopp starting to put the pressure on from the outside as they head head up into the upper corner now, the floating bridge turn, and even Cal Phipps is starting to see some boat speed from the inside lane. So we've got some pretty good action up there coming out of that corner now and shutting the door. But that would be Jeff Bernard in the formulaboat.com, and he's got a rooster tail lead, but Greg Hopp is still trying to catch up with him. And Chip, I think Greg has a little bit more boat speed, but he's got a lot of real estate to make up.
Another example of a great start. I think he just equaled J. Michael Kelly's great start, and look at the benefit that's paying off. And I think with the start he made and the performance he's got on the boat, I think he's going to keep Greg Hopp behind him.
It looks as though at least at this point he's going to be able to do that, but Hopp has made up a little bit of ground coming out of that corner. Very rough down in the lower corner now as Jeff Bernard continues to fly his boat down the back chute and takes the entrance pin now just about to the entrance pin of the north corner. Right now on the outside, it is Greg Hopp putting a lot more pressure on him and laying a little more horsepower through the corner here, trying to catch up. He has pulled it within the rooster tail. Coming out of that corner now, he still has a wider course and clean water to run in, but Greg Hopp is not really catching him. He's just staying with him at this point. End of lap number 2. Jeff Bernard has your lead now. Here comes Greg. He's coming on strong now. He's coming on strong from the outside. He's drawing to within about a rooster tail now, about a quarter of a rooster tail. He's pulling, as you can see, from the outside to the apex of the corner, and let's see if he's got the boat speed coming out. He's got good water to run in.
Mike, he left a lot of room. I don't understand why he went so wide. I think if he would have stayed closer to him, closer to the inside, he could have won this race, but he went awfully wide on that corner, and I think it's going to cost him.
He's still putting the pressure on, though, as they come back into that north turn, turn number 2. He's now alongside. He noses out ahead at this point, but he's going to have a drag race on his hands to try to get Jeff Bernard at the start-finish line. Question is, who has the most horsepower? He's pulled virtually side by side. He's coming on strong. It looks like Greg Hopp may have it. It does look as though he has it. He wins, takes the checkered flag just by a boat length there at the end over Jeff Bernard.
Where did Fred Leland get this boat going so fast all of a sudden? They've been struggling not only this year, but they've been struggling for the last few years. But all of a sudden, this weekend, they're fast.
Boy, was that a finish. The number 3 of the boat is Cal Phipps. The number 4 is Ken Muscatel in the Car Pro. Mark Evans will be number 5, and number 6 will be the Matrix out of Pennsylvania.
And that last lap for the U100, the Kettle, the Lay's Kettle Cook, was 141 miles an hour in rough water. That's fast.
And on the outside.
And on the outside to boot. Yes, that's fast. Well, there was some dandy racing, and that shows you, of course, Chip, just exactly what's happening with the so-called Tier 2 boats, which are becoming quite a story here.
Well, Mike and Pat, I don't know about you, but this day is starting to unfold a lot differently than I thought it would. I thought really Oberto and the cutter boat were just simply going to walk away with it. But if we can see that start from the buoy again, I think we can really show what a start does for you. And, you know, both these drivers for Formula, Jeff Bernard and J. Michael Kelly, I think they're upping each other's game because they both want to be the first string driver on that team. And I think they're pushing each other to really great driving performances.
Well, that was certainly a great driving performance on the part of Greg Hopp. He just kept coming and coming. He's been out here so many years. He's tried so hard. Rarely has he had a piece of equipment underneath him like he has this morning.
You know what, I tend to talk a lot about the starts because I look at a driver separate from his boat, and the driver's job is to get a fast start, to be on time and get through the corner well. If he gets passed on the outside by a boat that's faster than him, there's really nothing he can do about that. So when I see a guy like Jeff Bernard get a start like that and hold off a faster boat for all but the last half of the straightaway, that tells me it's a great driving job.
But of course, also, we are now sprint racing, obviously, with 3 laps and these very, very fast turbines. These have become sprint races. If you had 4 or 5 more laps to go, or the old days if you ran around 10 times for a 30-mile heat, things can change in that process. A lot of mechanical factors start to kick in. But right now, if you've got the bullet to go, and the 3 laps is all it's going to take, if you can get the position and manage to hold it for at least a half of those 3 laps, your chances of winning are pretty good.
And Chip, let me ask the question. We have seen Greg Hopp in years past running both, running the big boat and running the lights. Is this an advantage for the driver to be able to just focus on one thing?
It certainly would be for me. I would not have wanted to drive 2. I compliment Greg. He's done a great job of that, but I wouldn't want to do that. You know, again, if we can take a look at that start, I think it really demonstrates what a driver brings to the sport here. Now watch that clock and watch when that boat goes past these two buoys. There's 2 seconds, 1 second, 0. Yeah, he was a little later than I thought, but try to imagine at home timing a boat, a 6,000-pound boat going 190 miles an hour and try to get it that close to a specific spot at a specific time. I apologize, that start wasn't as good as J. Michael Kelly's, but still better than everybody else in that heat.
Well, and you can see here from our camera shot high above the pits, Chris Francis is now standing by. He's got Greg Hopp as Greg gets untangled and undone. He's all set as the unofficial winner of Heat 2B. Chris?
Well, Steve, I talked to him before the race, and he said, I got to produce. We just got this new sponsor, and you did it.
That's right. We got this new sponsor, Lay's Kettle Cooked chips. And I was just saying that we got to produce so they can sell some produce. So everyone go out and buy a bag of Kettle's cooked chips, and we'll be all good.
How did you hunt him down at the last couple laps?
Well, I talked to you before the heat, and I remember, so we were Drew Lane 4. We put a really tall gearbox in it. Just a ton of boat speed coming from the outside.
All right. Thanks, Greg. Guys, back to you.
Taking a look now, your unofficial results. There is the Lay's Kettle Cooked boat, the U100 Formula Boats, Miss Jillian's Car Pros, the Washington Truck Dispatch, and the Matrix System. Unofficial results of Unlimited Heat 2B. From air show action back to the water, it's time for Heat 3A of the Unlimited Hydroplanes at Seafair, and here are your headlines. How hot's the kettle? Greg Hopp has that baby flying. What is he going to do here in Heat 3A? A third-place finish is not what the Alberto team likes, but they stayed ahead of the Cutter boat, and that's all Steve David wants to do. And finally, a family reunion of sorts, the Red Dot, with Kip Brown at the controls and Uncle Nate running the show. How will they fare? It's Unlimited Heat 3A.
Heat 3A of the Albert Lee Cup at Seafair is brought to you by Samsung Appliance, a leader in innovative energy-efficient appliances, and is presented for Seafair by the Tulalip Resort Casino. Experience exceptional luxury and service, plus gaming excitement at the Northwest's finest resort casino.
And here now your Muckleshoot lineups for this Heat 3A. The Oh Boy Alberto draws the inside lane here. There is Greg Hopp next to him, the Lay's Kettle Cooked. Washington Truck Dispatch, the Miss Red Dot, Kip Brown, Matrix Systems, and then Car Pros with Dr. Ken Muscatel on the outside. And as we take a look with a little extra time to chat about the drivers and the boats and the conditions, again, our ceiling appears to be going up ever so slightly and ever so slowly. The temperatures aren't, though. Still about 66 degrees and a little more breeze blowing here along the shores of Lake Washington. As we get set to run this race, let's check in now with the drivers, those men who will be controlling these boats. And here is inside the Lay's Kettle boat with Greg Hopp at the controls. And Mike, Greg Hopp, a first-place finish in his second heat.
And he'll be starting from the 2-lane, and he loves the 2-lane on Lake Washington. So this will be an optimum position for him and a good opportunity to really put it to the Oh Boy Alberto. Will be just to his left on the inside. I think Greg Hopp is up to it.
Chris Francis has been in the Hopp pits for the last little bit. How are they feeling down there, Chris?
They're feeling really good. You're right, Steve. Actually, you know, I didn't get a chance to talk about it before the first heat because we really weren't focused on Greg Hopp, but they've changed engines a couple of times. They've gone back and forth all weekend here and changed gearboxes before today's heats, so they've obviously dialed in on something that they really like. But I did talk to Greg just a few moments before he got in the boat about passing the 01 Alberto and getting around him, and he said, you know, that's going to be a tall order, but if they can do that, look out in the final. And one more note, they also learned something from their great run in Detroit earlier in the year. They said, you know, it's a bigger course, but we learned how to run fast on the straightaways, and if you saw in that last heat, they really did make up some ground and carried it into the corner.
All right, good job, Chris. Let's check out the next boat inside. That's the Miss Red Dot. In Heat 1A, a second-place finish yesterday, but a disappointing 6th here today. Chip?
If there's a sleeper in this field, I think this is it. This boat, I don't think has ever looked as fast as it has this weekend. Kip Brown is quiet, he's unassuming, but I think he's getting ready now to make his mark in this heat.
Polar opposite of his uncle Nate Brown, by the way, who's not quiet and unassuming in any way, shape, or form. The next boat is the sausage boat, the Oh Boy Alberto, a third-place finish along with a first, and I got to say that, Mike, I think Steve David has got to be very happy about his positioning and this kind of draw.
No question, he's coming out of the lane 1 position in this heat. He's got a very fast Lay's Kettle cooked out on the outside of him on his right, and the red dot will be in the 4 lane. Those are the class of this particular fleet, but the Oh Boy Alberto handles well on the inside here. Steve David should, if he gets a good start, be able to handle this field.
And Lee Stoll, you've been in the pits, the Oh Boy Alberto team, as professional as any on the waters.
And they are, and Steve, as you mentioned, he is very happy about that inside pull. The crew changed out the gearbox a little bit, even after the last race, so they're still tinkering with a couple of things, just doing what they do best, needing to go faster and push harder and pull in as many points as they can to set up for that final.
Mark Evans, it seems like it was just yesterday, went upside down and won the 1997 Seafair Classic here. This time he's driving a boat, Chip, that maybe not as fast, not as competitive as the one he was in a few years ago.
And speaking of quiet and unassuming, Mark Evans.
Yes.
Just kidding, folks. He's trying to get this boat to cutter. They just tell him to go out there and get as many points as he can. But Mark's a racer. I wouldn't be surprised if he saw an opening if he tried to do something with it.
Are you good? No, I think I'm late on my car insurance.
Good thing the General gives you a break when you need it.
With flexible payment options to keep you covered.
The U-22 Matrix boat with Mike Webster at the controls. Michael, this young man still looking to try to dial in a little more speed.
This is a former Cooper boat, and Cooper's not here with his Allison boat, as you know, because he is protesting the issues with the officials of the sport right at the moment and dropped out of the circuit after Detroit. But this was a former Allison-powered boat, and it became a turbine, and the Matrix people have done a pristine job. They're down on a little equipment, get a little help from some pretty good folks, however, who know what they're doing, including John Walters. So we'll see what transpires here.
Kim Muscatel, a broken boat, and I'm afraid a broken spirit right now.
And we welcome in all the listeners on 950 KJR, as well as worldwide, KairoTV.com. Patrick.
Well, a lot of people on the shore rooting for the Alberto, you know, and the boat's from owned by the citizens of Madison, Indiana, driven by Steve David from Florida, but it's sponsored by that great Seattle firm, the Alberto Sausage Company, and we'll see Dave can find that pepperoni power from lane 1.
Greg Hop in lane number 2 is giving Steve David in lane number 1 a lane, and that's all. There's a 0 out on the clock. Looks like a fair start. Kip Brown gets another very quick start from the middle of the field. The 2 leaders are back a little bit, and Chip, they come down to you.
Kip Brown's way out there in lane 4. He had a great start, but I don't think he's got enough boat. Hopefully he can salvage maybe a second or a third out of this, but it's going to be tough.
Steve David takes the lead now as they come down the back chute on lap number 1, first of 3 times around. He's going to try to run away from everybody. In second place is Kip Brown, and he is driving well from the outside, but unfortunately there doesn't seem to be the speed this time in the U-100, the Lay's Kettle cooked, that they demonstrated in the previous heat. Steve David is not having a problem with him.
You know, speaking of cooked, I'm afraid Dave Vilwalk's national championship is starting to look a little cooked, because Steve David and the Alberto's gotten every break they want. They beat him one time. They have not drawn him in heat, so it's going to get tough for Dave to win that championship if Alberto keeps having a great day.
Steve David turned the first lap at 140.806 miles an hour.
And
That's
this has
flying.
turned out to be something of a high-speed parade for 1 and 2 at the moment, but the race for 3rd and 4th, and there's Ken Muscatel trying desperately from the outside to get some points toward the possibility of going to Cutter, as he senses the problem with respect to the U-100 boat to Greg Hop, and he has passed him on the outside and has taken over 3rd place. Ken Muscatel getting a chance to score some points if he can keep it together. Meanwhile, Steve David has driven himself out of trouble. He demonstrated from the inside lane that he's got superiority here. He has been in the lead for the entire heat thus far, and it looks as though with 1 more lap to go, he's He's now extended his lead to about 3 boat lengths, Pat.
Well, he's up to 138 miles an hour. The number 2 boat is Kip Brown. He's having a great ride. And number 3 is Ken Muscatel.
Muscatel's boat was all beat up, Chip, before, but he's running pretty good now.
Yeah, I think the problem is with Greg Hopp. Greg Hopp is going slower and slower and slower, and it's too bad because he had such a great day going, but I think he's coasting to a stop, and it's going to be all Oberto. And Kip Brown is going to help him in the final.
In the race for 3rd and 4th, or 4th and 5th, rather, we have a pretty good race going there too. The Matrix is working on Mark Evans out there. Mr. Webster trying to take him as well, so he's trying to get a little pride out here as this race continues to unfold. All right, ready to claim the checkered flag. It will be the old boy Oberto, Steve David, at the wheel, and really never headed in this one as he passes the boat that could have given him trouble but didn't. At the start-finish line, the old boy Oberto is your winner. 2nd place is going to be Kip Brown in the red dot. 3rd place, it's going to be the Car Pros, scoring some points at long last for Ken Muscatel. And in 4th place, well, we're not sure yet, but it looks as though Mark Evans is going to be able to hold on to take 4th place in the Washington Truck Dispatch. And he does that in the U-57 boat, the Matrix Systems, with Mike Webster bringing up the rear, and dead in the water at the start-finish line, not completing this heat, is Greg Hopp. That's not the way he figured it would end.
No, that's really sad because Greg Hopp and the whole Leland team has done a wonderful job. They've found speed in the boat that they haven't found for a very long time. They just signed a new sponsor in Lay's Kettle Cooked, and now this.
If you want to give points for effort, Mike Webster, all the way out from Pennsylvania with that team and that boat. He gets up and delivers papers in the morning to have enough money to buy lunch for their crew as they work on that boat daily. So glad to have him in Seattle and participating. Congratulations to Steve and David. More points toward that national title.
And it's beginning to unfold his way at the moment, and he knows that coming up in Heat 3B, it's a very busy heat for Dave Villwock with a whole lot of competition.
Just a note for all those that are in the river, it is now time to get to the shoreline, please. All swimmers, all waders, we need you up out of the water on the shoreline as the hydroplanes come out of the pits, and now we can start to see, with the blue bridge in the backdrop, the Budweiser Griffin. David Williams.
Yeah, right behind him is the Payday Candy Bars. We talked about it back in the day, the Pan Pack from 1973, the Winged Wonder. I tell you what, when I was a kid, Miss Bardall was my favorite boat, but when that thing hit the water, that white and orange Pan Pack with that wing, that was a love affair with me and a hydroplane. Here comes Bill Muncie's Atlas Van Lines is away from the dock. Chip Hanauer behind the wheel, driving in his Atlas Van Lines helmet.
And I don't know, are you watching David Williams in the Budweiser? It looks like he was kind of laboring to get up on plane. Now he's starting to get a little boat speed as he heads to Tire Factory turn number 2.
I think what he's doing, Michael, I think what he's doing is just waiting. He's waiting for these guys, and here comes the Squire. They want them to all hook up and come together. So he'll get that one lit, but I think that's what he was doing, was just kind of hanging around waiting.
And again, swimmers, waders, we need you out of the river up on the shore, please. As the boats come up the backstretch, Pay and Pack on the inside, Budweiser Griffin on the outside. That Pasco shoreline definitely has filled in.
Looking good, Pasco. Get the cameras out.
So the Squire Shop is back out, and we start to see it. Oh, and the Atlas jumped through the Esco Electric infield back to the front stretch, and I think the Blue Blaster may be heading back to the pits.
I think you're right.
I think he's going to come around here and jump over with the Squire.
Yep, he makes the left-handed turn.
He is out. I don't know where he's going. I don't know where he's going, but he's going to have a conversation with the official when he gets back in, because he just went outside 2 course markers. And I think he just picked up, went inside that one, but he came off the race course.
Yeah, sailing along here at Tire Factory turn 2. Looks like Squire might be waiting up for him, though.
Coming down the front stretch. Budweiser on the outside, Pay and Pack on the inside. Squire Shop on the backstretch, trailing the Blue Blaster that did a funny kind of an S-turn down around the bottom end of the course and went outside the course marker.
I believe that'll get him a conversation with an official. Just a quick one. It's like,
what was that?
What'd you do?
So the boats are equidistant on both ends of the course.
Yes, you're going to have 2 heats of competition here, I guess. You got the Pan Pack on the inside of the Griffin, and then you got the other 2 boats, the Squire and the Atlas Van Lines at the top end. Interesting, of course, Chip Hanauer driving Bill Muncie's Atlas Van Lines, but he's also looking off to the side and seeing the boat he drove, the Squire Shop.
Yeah, Chip really puts his foot into it as they come across start-finish. Starts to pull away a little bit from the Squire Shop, but now the Squire Shop on the inside, feathering the throttle, coming down the front stretch, and it's deck-to-deck racing as they head into All Doors Incorporated turn number 1.
What a great sight.
Oh, that it is here now as they hit that apex coming into Tire Factory turn number 2. That arch wing, that horizontal stabilizer on Squire Shop really stands out. Such a cool looking vessel, as it looks like Blue Atlas coming real wide out of that turn, sticking to the outside. But now, as they hit this backstretch, showing a little bit of speed, got the rooster tail going and jumping ahead here by a couple boat lengths as they head down the Griggs backstretch.
Back to the front stretch. Budweiser on the outside, Pay and Pack on the inside. Great photo opportunity both sides of the river right now. That's a great shot on the backstretch with the Atlas on the outside and the Squire inside.
Love the equidistant action of the 2 boats on the one and the other 2. Probably, before this is all said and done, they'll all hook up and do the 4-way like they did yesterday.
Well, we hope so,
Let's hope so for, photo opportunity's sake. to have these 4 boats together at the same time is really extraordinary. It really is.
Back over to Tire Factory turn number 2. Have a chance to see the Bud pay and pack over there. And they're onto the Griggs backstretch to the Mosteller Memorial start finish line with a white flag out. Chip Hanauer in the blue Blaster. Atlas Van Lines on the outside. Squire Shop inside, and they are deck to deck as they head down to All Doors Incorporated turn number 1.
Yeah, looking good here. Squire Shop with that distinctive cathedral arched horizontal stabilizer. Back up at the top end of the race course, you've got that winged pay and pack quick start.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can it keep me warm when I'm cold?
Wait, no, I'm always hot.
Sleep Number does that.
Story about that boat. When the boats were built back in the day, when they would come out, the boats would not be good right out of the box. That was extremely rare, and there was a lot of innovative stuff done with that pay and pack. Well, they took it down to the Miami Marine Stadium for the first race of the year in 1973. The course record was 112. Mickey Riemann put the pay and pack in the water, ran a lap just a tick under 120, and everybody went, wow.
That's incredible, and that Miami Stadium was built just for hydroplane racing, just for boat racing. It's amazing. There's been talks about a possible comeback. I wonder if that'll ever happen, Brad.
Well, it might happen, and you're exactly right. It was built for boat racing. The only problem was the boats got too big and too fast for that race course as far as these boats. We've had a couple of boats not be able to hold a corner on that race course and end up on the beach. And that's not a good thing. Like Steve David, who did it down in Arizona one time, said that walking home from a boat race is not necessarily a good thing.
Squire Shop, Atlas Van Lines across the Mosteller Memorial start finish line. On the backstretch, final pass, Budweiser pay and back, and they are deck to deck.
Certainly seems that way. Maybe less than half a boat length in between the two.
Well, I tell you, Chip was dancing the sponsons on the Atlas. That was pretty good. Just to finish real quick on that story about the pay and pack and the very fast qualifying speed. Oh, they followed it up. There were 3 preliminary heats. They took first in all 3. There was a final heat. They took first in that one, too. And so everybody knew right then that was going to be the wave of the future. That was the boat you were going to have to beat.
So back to the top end of the course, and off the exit pin of White's Finished Furniture and Hardwoods, turn number 4, Budweiser and the pay and back, and a photo finish across the Mosteller start-finish line.
Too close to call.
Just amazing.
It's a heater.
And 2 more coming out of turn number 4. And hello to our Buffalo Brothers friends up at turn number 4.
Love how they're doing this, the 2 and the 2. Yesterday was the 4 wide. Probably back to another 4 wide tomorrow.
And Chip Hanauer is going to lead across the start-finish line by a boat length over the Squire Shop. And a final pass down the front stretch, and they'll head back into the Neil F. Lamson pits. And the only right-hand turn number 5, Summit Funding, as they head back to the pit area. Perfect exhibition for the Unlimited Bills. Yes, Brad.
From down here, we got John Watkins, who we did not know who was behind the wheel of the Squire Shop. It's John Watkins, who is very much involved with the Hydroplane and Raceboat Museum, the restoration of this particular Squire. And this was a little bit of driver training for him. He has driven the Squire before since they've christened it, but he's never driven it alongside another boat. That's why he was on the inside of the Atlas Van Lines. And what better guy to lead him around the race course than Mr. Hanauer in the Blue Blaster. So I'm sure John is pretty excited. He got to go side by side for the first time.
Legends Hotel Casino for our special coverage of the vintage boats and a chance to see some of the hydroplane history. The Blue Blaster, Atlas Van Lines, and Chip Hanauer had been in that boat before, and Brad Luce, I would imagine he still is.
He is. Chip is out in the Blaster. John is again aboard the Squire Shop. The Squire Shop, however, is quite a ways away from the dock right now and unable to get the candle lit. He's still trying. And actually, and still sitting at the dock here right now is David Williams in the U1, the Griffin Budweiser.
All right, so that's the pay and pack then coming down the front.